back to another live stream, and today we're going to be talking about what you actually need to get started in tattooing. So often I see and hear from people. Oops, let me mute myself as usual. We hear people ask us, I get messages quite often. What do I actually need? I'm looking at this machine. Should I get a coil machine? Should I get this? Do I need a stencil machine? All these questions come in regular. So we figured we take a break from our usual broadcasts on Sunday, our usual, tattoo critiques, and talk about some pretty basic topic. But I also think it's fun to have a conversation. I have Andy here with me as well. We're gonna go back and forth and discuss our thoughts on it, present to you what we think you might need if you're just getting started with fake skin, let's say. And what do you need if you're going to tattoo real skin, human skin? And then what do you need to look for down the road? What is it that if you're going to continue this, what might be the best stuff to have or things you might need to have? Now, for those who have come here because they want to see a tattoo critique, I'm going to put an email at the bottom of the screen, guys. This is over at Andy's channel, okay? I'm putting an email at the bottom of the screen right now, okay? You see this email. It says the first is The Tattoo Studio. You see that at the bottom, just like that, The Tattoo Studio. That's Andy's channel. If you guys want to go over there and subscribe to that channel, turn notifications on, because we're going to be going back and forth between his channel and my channel when it comes to tattoo critiques. So the great thing is that email address right there, you can send your work in anytime. Anytime you can send it into that email address from now until Wednesday or Thursday, because we usually go live on his channel on Wednesday or Thursday to critique your tattoos. And then from there, we're going to flip-flop back and forth every couple weeks. However, we want to keep things, keep everybody on their toes, or if you will. So anyhow, guys, go over there, subscribe to Andy's channel, and send your work to his email account. And again, the great thing about that is you can send it any time to that email account. It doesn't have to be Sunday live. Okay, anytime, send it there. When the live comes, we're going to go through them, okay? So I just want to get that out of the way for anybody who was dropping in and going, what in the poops is going on here? Also, guys, give the stream a like. Share this with anybody you think it might help. If you have somebody who's thinking about getting into tattooing, let them take a look at it so that they understand there is an investment and what do you want to do with it, right? Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff set up here, guys. Just stuff I just grabbed from back here. You can see my desk is a little light today. And we're going to be going through. I have a list of stuff that I put together, and we're going to discuss it with Andy. And I hope that you guys in the chat throw your 2 cents in, because it matters. It matters. I want to know what you guys think. We're going to be discussing a topic, and in the chat, I would love to see people going like, I love this, I love that, I hate this, I hate that, don't do that, whatever. That's the beauty of this channel. It's the beauty of community, is that everybody gets to put in their own 2 cents. So with that being said, I'm going to pull Andy in here. We're going to say hello and go from there. Andy, how are you doing, buddy?
I am great. Hey, it's going to make a change, is this Sunday night? Like I say, proper got this changed up, Dave. Looking forward to it.
We're turning new leaves, Andy. Woo.
Yeah,
doing crazy stuff here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got to say hello to everybody. We got Danik, Kenneth, Smoke. Andy's in the chat, too. Look at you, Andy. We got Mary Jason. I like it. It's like hyphenated now. Ron Clark, thanks for being here. Danik again. Manu Tattoo. Who else we got? Contrasted. Baca. Dick Johnson. Kenneth again. What do we got? Brian. Nate Walker. Shoot, I'm probably missing people here, but no less, guys. Oh, Joey Bowie. I got that messed up a long time ago. Amber, Rob. Hey, guys, I just want to say thanks. John, what's going on? I hope that we have a good stream here, a fun one. And again, Cole, what's going on, man? Get your thoughts in the chat. Alicia, you can get the heck on out of here, okay? This is a private chat only. Members. No, I'm kidding.
On discussion now, that's not happening.
Yeah, I know, right?
She's up for letting all your secrets out on discussion night, Dave.
Right. Thank God. Now I start questioning all the things I thought no one's supposed to know about me. I think I'm safe. Should be okay. Okay, Andy, are you ready to discuss some stuffs about? Yo, what up? Just got in here. How's everyone? Okay. Let's see. Let's see. So obviously, Andy, when it comes to tattooing, one of the first things we need, I got some notes over here. So if I look over this way, some of the first things we need, tattoo machine. Tattoo machine. Now I have some laid out over here, and then we can kind of discuss like what we like and stuff. But what everybody knows is the coil machine, right? Pretty standard tattoo machine as far as this is like the visuals we all have when we think of tattooing machine is the coil machine. It's still a contender today. It's not as popular. It's not used as much. I don't use it anymore, but it is definitely a thing. Next up, we have our, our pen machines essentially without batteries, right? You got adjustable stroke pen machines. Then you have ones that have batteries attached to them. Also, this is a direct drive machine. So we have direct drive machines, swash plate machines. And we can go in more detail, Andy. Do you want to explain what you prefer?
No, what I would say to anybody,
because they got to have a tattoo machine.
I mean, a good machine, shall we say, to start with, that's going to be easy, is going to be a pen style machine, because that's going to feel familiar in the hand to anybody. Now, going on from there, depending on, shall we say, how deep your pockets are, it's the scale is exponential. But what I would say for anybody that's going in, there's a couple of key things to look for. One, look for a pen machine. Look for something with either a coreless or brushless motor, and preferably when you're learning, and preferably look for a direct drive machine. Them few things alone, in my eyes, are a must, because we've talked about it numerous times. A swash drive machine, it may say 3.5 millimeter stroke, it may say 4 millimeter stroke, but in realisms, I've used them. In realism, a 3.5 millimeter stroke swash drive machine, I would probably say hits like a 2.6, 2.8, direct drive. Very, very weak in comparison. I've just seen Salty Scrunt. I got a Massfold Pro and I've been using it a lot. I really like it. I bought a Massfold Pro, and I'll be honest, I thought the thing was junk.
Yeah.
Even on 4.2 millimeter stroke, it honestly hit like a 2-year-old. It was so soft in comparison to me 3.5 millimeter direct drive, and that's why I say that's why I would say to anybody, look for a direct drive.
And so you like direct drive then, essentially. And then when it comes to explaining direct drive, what that essentially means, guys, is that let me unscrew this machine here real quick. I've got lights figured out. So we take the machine is actually directly to the motor is your push rod. That's going to go up and down and push your cartridge. Okay, that's what a direct drive refers to. There's nothing really in between the machine. So this slides right in there, and you're good to go. A swash plate. That motor is spinning sideways. A little plate's in there. It's moving a pin up and down, essentially. So there's two different things you got to look into and think about stroke. But anyhow, aside from all of that, I know when you're first getting into tattooing, it's like, wait, this is already too much BS, and I'm not really sure where to begin. But just know you have direct drive machines, swash plate machines. I like a direct drive. I like 3.5 millimeter. It's a good all-around stroke. So if you are looking for a machine, you got no idea what to go with. For lack of getting into the weeds on things, I would look for a 3.5 millimeter machine, stroke machine. I mean, they're pretty common. That's a very common stroke. In fact, with this new machine I've been using, I really like it at 3.6. It's essentially 3.5 millimeter, and it runs on a swash plate as well. So still enjoying 3.5 millimeter as a stroke. And you can start there and go up and down depending on what you want to do. Yeah. So there, I would say the next thing we got to discuss, Andy, would be power supplies to be running said machines.
It
So
has.
you could run a standard like power supply kind of a thing where you plug in your clip cord, plug in your foot pedal, which seems so weird nowadays. I thought there would be a day I'd never tattooed out a foot pedal. Now we don't really use foot pedals. It's weird, isn't it?
It is. It's weird, but like you say, just quickly flipping back and then I'll bring it forward. I know a 3.5mm stroke for anybody getting into it. Good all round stroke, Dave.
Yeah.
Me myself, I've used 3.5 for ages. I've just recently started using a 4.5mm. Love it. Absolutely love it. And then, like I say, and then the rest of it's just done with needles and, hand speed and pressure. And I can still get the same results, just that it's a lot less effortless because that stroke is a lot more powerful. But it's one of them, yourself, Dave, you've got to know what you're doing. Otherwise, it's easy to blow everything out.
Absolutely.
But going on to your power supplies, you want to go to a power supply. There's a couple of things I would say if they're looking for a power supply. And the power supply, believe it or not, doesn't have to cost you a fortune. But what I would say, if you can invest, one is get a digital power supply, the more stable.
Right.
Secondly, make sure that your power supply is capable of 2 amps. Because there's some that aren't, but make sure it is capable of 2 amps and 2 amps sustained. Because otherwise you will start having problems and you will start, power will start fading off and it'll fluctuate, especially if you've been using your machine for a long time and the motor in the machine gets warm. It has a tendency to want to draw a bit more power. So you just don't want that fade off. And spinning off from that, like you said, foot pedals. With a digital, you don't need a foot pedal, do you? You can switch it on, you can switch it off. You can use a foot pedal if you want, but you do have the choice to actually switch it on or switch it off. And I don't know. I don't know about you. Invest in a decent quality RCA lead instead of a cheap ass, screw.
That is true. If you're going to run a power supply and plug the RCA cord in or clip cord, if you're running, more of a coil machine, definitely a good pedal, a good clip cord. These are things you might want to look into if you're going to down the road, maybe. Other things when it comes to power supplies. So like we said, we got pretty much your standard. There's tons, guys. I don't use it anymore. This is like broken. Actually, I don't even know why I still have it. But nonetheless there. And then you have your batteries, right? So just a bland battery, several other brands, right? Doesn't matter. You have batteries that can attach to any machine, right? So you have a battery that can just simply plug into your machine, assuming they're both RCA, right? Then you have machines, things to think about. If you're looking at your machine, maybe they come with their own battery, right? So that might, introducing yourself into tattooing, maybe you go with a machine that has a battery with it. And so now you don't have to worry about that. I've gotten into a lot of things in my life where I've had to watch YouTube videos, figure it all out. And sometimes just get me into it. I'll figure it out later. That might be a good way to get yourself into it. Figure out, like, maybe I don't like this, right? And again, more machines that have their own proprietary batteries. I would prefer, and Andy, I think you probably suggest the same. I mean, I'm looking at a couple machines that are outside what I'm going to say, and I like those machines. But I would say it'd be best to get a machine that doesn't take a proprietary battery, a machine that you could go buy a battery off the street, but off the internet, and plug it right in. That way, let's say I don't like this machine anymore. Oh, I can still carry my battery along to my next machine, plug it. You know what I mean? Are you the same way there, Andy?
Yeah. And we spoke about this in the past, and I've just recently bought a machine and I went left side of field, and believe it or not, a lot of us viewers have then gone on to buy this machine and they're raving about it as well. But yes, I've always previous to this time round, I've always bought a machine with a dedicated battery, their own proprietary battery and everything.
Yeah, right.
Which, and as you've just rightly pointed out, Dave, if I want to change my machine, I've got to buy all batteries again. And I've just got fed up of that because, like you say, you're spending money, you're continually investing as you come along. And like I said, so I wanted a machine with independent, universal, shall we say, universal batteries.
Right.
With an RCA. If that machine breaks and I've got another machine, any machine whatsoever, with an RCA that takes an RCA cord, then batteries will go in. I can use them batteries wherever. I'm not limited to using it on that specific machine.
Right.
This I don't know how you feel, Dave, but this day and age, for what you would, especially when you're starting, and even going forward, me personally, with how things are and how battery technology and how motor technology is coming along and how tackling's coming along, I would personally say that this day and age, I would skip the power supply, me personally. Invest in a couple of batteries.
Yep.
Universal batteries.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. And go from there, because an half-right, let's be right, semi-right, half-right power supply, digital, you may be paying $120. You know what I mean? Let's say you pay $120 for it.
Yeah.
You've just managed to get two batteries for that money.
Yeah, I got two batteries and I absolutely love them. I use them all the time, like somebody said before, the downside with batteries, I think somebody said it here in the chat, was that the connections go bad over time. They really do. I mean, like the RCA connections, whatever connections they are, this is a critical, not a cheap battery at all. And the connection's gone bad. And, it's pretty much crap now. And those are way expensive. They're going to happen, failures. So, battery, I'd say put your money in a machine maybe, but batteries per se, I've not had problems. If they work, they work. They all seem to work pretty good. But like you said, I got two for $120. Good to go. Delivered to the door. Good solid batteries. Nice readouts. I hooked them up. We measured them. They're reading good. They're accurate. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're better off buying a battery and having some that you can definitely transition between machines, because like this new machine, I really like this machine. Believe it or not, I was supposed to hate it. More to come on this one, but it's a very proprietary battery. It's just so just for this machine. A lot of times they only sell them with one battery, and so you got to go buy another one or whatnot. Now, some of these batteries will last a long time. One battery will probably get you by all day long, maybe 2 days. If you're charging them and whatnot after a couple days, but it's still reassuring to have a couple batteries. And then if this machine shits the bed or I decide, I'm moving on, well, that battery's gone with the machine. Just, things to think about. Well, Andy, the next thing, so we got a tattoo machine. We have a power supply. Needles are up next.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Stay up, PJ. My 4.0 seems to run clean. It lines at 10 volts and lower than that. It doesn't say 10 volts seems high, stay up, but you don't say what machine you're using.
Yeah. The motor matters.
Yeah. So we don't know that. Just a quick one off Jeremy. He was on about, I think, his machine, and I don't know whether he's on about the torques or whatever. He was on about putting a 3mm cam in it. Now, I've had this conversation with somebody tonight. It's all right if you can get a cam to fit. E.g., you've got to think of the thickness of the cam, the dimensions of the hole in the cam, the offset on the bearing, and you've got to also think the length of the plunger, the offset on the plunger so it runs true down the middle of your machine, and everything. You've got to make sure that is all corresponds to the machine that you're going to put it in. If not, then you're going to have to start making your own cams, which you can get a cam right distance, then you're starting to having to bend your own offsets on your plungers and measure your lengths up and everything, which I've done. I've done it. It's not too hard to do once you get into it. But you've just got to make sure that you've got everything going all in one go. So going from there, Dave, you're saying what we're going to do? You
on
needles.
in the spirit of answering questions that might pop up along the way, I don't really have any. Somebody asked, anonymous wanted to know, Mass Pro, all right, wireless. As far as I go, I've used a Mass machine one time. It was really weak, didn't care for it, and I never went back to them. I'll talk about the brand in a little bit because there's a lot of stuff I do like, but the machines I've not had any success with. But I didn't know, Andy. I know you had that one machine now.
The Mass,
I heard a lot of people had some success with the Flip, or was it the Fold?
the Mass Pro Flip, by all accounts, is better than the Mass Fold Pro that I got. The Mass Fold Flip is a bit of a weird design, and it's got better reviews. As we got, because they're both adjustable strokes, Dave. They are both swash drive machines. So somebody agrees with me there. So they're going to hit a lot softer in my eyes. And that's why, and I would always say for anybody, you're going to find it easy to learn to tackle, learn to put lines in and adapt to a direct drive. Waldo, what voltage you use the TOTS 4.5 stroke, and does it vibrate also that much? Right, Waldo. I use anywhere between 6.2 volts and 7.2 volts, depending on what I'm doing and what I'm pushing. If I'm pushing a 7 mag with color, 6.9 volts, 15 mag, maybe 7.1, 7.2. Now, I did cover, went on your channel, wasn't it? Just after I got it. What I had to do when I got the machine with vibrating is I just trued up the plunger. When I took it out, screwed the motor out, hung it upside down, looked at it, and it was slightly off, just with my thumb finger, just bent it that way, turned it sideways, just bent it. So much easier. And your braking in period, because the end of the plunger comes dry. So your braking in period, you've got stainless steel up against aluminium. So what I would say is take it out, put a bit of Vaseline, A&D, or machine lube or whatever it is, put it back in, run it to bed it all in. That's just that one.
Good to go. Well, it's good to see what different people are using. Some people are Bronx. I mean, Bronx, I've used quite a few Bronx. Not bad either. Okay, guys. So next up is going to be needles, right? So we got a machine. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys already know some of this stuff, but we're talking to people that might be more new. So definitely throw in the chat your thoughts and whatnot as we go along here. So when we did power supplies, we got a tattoo machine. We got a power supply. Now we need some needles. There's tons of brands out there, guys. I've tried a lot. I know Andy tried a lot, but I'm pretty sure when it comes to cost and overall well-rounded needles, I think me and Andy are definitely on the same boat on this one, bud. Like, without a doubt, there might be something that we might think is better or not. But for the money, these Mass Pro cartridges are where it's at. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of their machines, right? So what? I'm not. It's okay, but their needles, specifically the Mass Pro needles. I've not tried the other ones, but the Mass Pros. I mean, again, for the money, these are fantastic needles for the money. Definitely good. But to go deeper in on needles, though, for me, Andy, and then I want to get your input. So we both use the same needle. That's a given.
Yep. Eventually.
Yes, somebody was saying the CNC police cartridges. I still got a boatload of those. But when it comes to the needles, when it comes to the liners and round shaders, I use standard needles. 12 gauge standard needles 99% of the time. And some of my favorites are 5-round liners and 5-round shaders. So that gives me a smaller needle, smaller line, a slightly thicker line. Round shaders, to me, standard ones are nicer to push. I also will use like a 3 bug pin round liner for tighter stuff. And then when it comes to mags, I like to use number 10 bug pins. And specific needle groupings I like are 7, curved mags, 15 curved mags, also known as round mags, and maybe like a 21 round mag. So, Andy, that's kind of where I stand. Those are my 5 favorites: 5 round liner, standard number 12; 5 round shader, standard number 12; and then 7s, 15s, 21s in the curve mag bug pin. And if they bought the Mac Pros, I think they'd be in good shape. If they bought the
you see,
in my opinion,
it's a bit hard for me because let's do the round mags, curved mags, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
A 7 bug pin curved mag. All my mags are bug pin. I don't use standards. They're all bug pin, size 10 bug pin, not a 00.
Number 10.
They're not an 08 or some people call them a 00.
Right.
They are a size 10 bug pin. Now, I have 7 curved mag. I have 15 curved mag, and then it's 25 curved mag. They're the only 3 I use of them. Whether I'm packing colour, whether I'm shading, the needles use the same. What I would say, I don't know, a few people have hit me up and asked me this question, is don't waste your time on flat mags. You know what I mean? It's sometimes they're just hard to work with and can cause a lot more trauma. They're just as it is. But then moving on to standard needles, and all my lining needles, other than one, are standards. But unfortunately, see, I use a lot of 3-round liners, 5-round liners, 7s, 9s, and 11s. So I've got 5 different round liners there. And then from there, I have 9-round shader and 14-round shader. Then the bulk, along with, I use a 003 round liner sometimes, which is an 08 3-round liner, which is
nice for some real small stuff.
It's really, really fine. And basically, I use that because people are wanting fine stuff. And I'll be honest, I can't really see a single needle.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing a 003 or whatever you want to call them, number 8s, bug pin 3s, yeah, I mean, they're so small. And somebody said that their shop uses quadrants. Stick with those, man. I mean, my order of needles go like this: the Mass Pros, like the Amelas and the quadrants are up next. Mela Elliott cartridges and the quadrants are like next up, and then below those, boom, I'm at the Mass Pros. But the Mass Pros are a fraction of the cost, and I think that's why I promote them, because I know a lot of people don't want to spend $40, $35 a box for some 15 curved mags, where with the Mass Pros you can spend like $16, $17 for a box. So, and the lack of quality, like the step down of quality, isn't all that much, right? It's there, but it's not all that much. From my use. Don't take it from me. Like I said, they're cheap enough you can go buy a box and figure it out for yourself. You know, I screwed up. Just a side note on needles, Andy. I got so many needles, it's gross. Because what I do is I'm like, I'm gonna try these out. Let's buy, I don't know, 20 boxes. Investing in needles. Boom. Gosh dang it! I use them for a long. I don't like these needles. Son of a gun! Now I got tons of needles. All right, well, I better go. Then I buy 20 boxes of these, and it's, oh my gosh. So I've been testing so many different needles out, and someone was asking me to test some other needles. It's like, you know what? I got to stop for a while because I've got to use what I've got. And I've just been giving away needles. I wish I could give them away online easier, but it costs me money to ship them all over the place. But anyhow, that's thoughts on needles.
Yeah.
Well, good to go.
It's like you say with needles. Just before we move off the thing, the Mass Pro needles, I've been using them for ages. I've been through 2,500 of these things now, if not more. Very, very few that have let me down. Literally 10, 12, a dozen of them or whatever that's let me down. They are really good bang for your buck. The price wise for them is great. And like anybody else, if you want a bargain, Dave below has got a link and a coupon code that if you go to where he goes and use his coupon code, you will get yourself another 10% off them. So that makes it even 10% cheaper. That makes it more of a bargain.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I use the same code. Oh man, the quality of the stream's coming across not so well right now, Andy.
What?
I'm,
It's perfect here.
yeah. Is it
So
perfect
what's
on your end? Maybe I got to refresh it. I mean, it
I'm
looks
going to say?
good on us.
I think it probably at your end, Dave.
I don't know.
That.
Mine's
I know.
coming across.
Just while we're on, I'm going to address a subject that was further up. Someone's on about stroke length. Somebody was on about stroke length and that, and about returning your needles in and out of tube and that. Unfortunately, your stroke length, if you look at your cams and how a cam works, your stroke length's got nothing to do with that. And if you are having problems like that, I would just suggest you look at your plunger and setting your plunger up properly, because our cam it has a bearing that rotates it up and down, but then it has an offset for the cam that will throw it in as it comes down to give it that punch. So the actual stroke, the actual rotation and the stroke is different. So your actual, if you're not getting enough through your needle, you need to look at your needle hang, your protrusion out of your cartridge.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely worth something to look at. Okay, Andy, moving along, as there's a lot of things we technically need. We're just going over the stuff that you need to tattoo, like fake skin right now. This is just what you need to tattoo fake skin, but obviously it's just good to talk about in general. Next I have on the list, Andy, is ink. So we're talking to the person who is just getting into tattooing, right? They're just tattooing some fake skin. They're not quite tattooing human skin. I would reckon to say they really only need black. Can we be fair?
One ink,
One
and
ink,
that's black.
Yeah. And you really don't need white when tattooing fake skin either, because the white isn't gonna work out well for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's white ink on false skin.
Yeah.
And that it's no, I won't bother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't show up in my eyes. I'm saying. I know Joey just put a comment up for you about the cartridges. I know it's thing. I'm worried about Mass Pro. I use Quadrant, which are pricey, but I know they are amazing. Mass Pros are less than half the price, but I'm worried as I've had a shit experience with cheap needles. Well, I use them every day.
Yeah, but just buy a box, Joey. Like if you prefer, I mean, what's going to hurt you? Spend $16-17 when you normally spend like $40. I know I love Quadrant too, but I mean, when you, I guess, I don't know, when tattooing a lot, it gets to get more pricey. But anyhow, I would just buy a box, man. Find your favorite mag that you like, 15, whatever you like to use, 7s, doesn't matter. Buy one box, get them in, test them out. If you're using it and you go, nope, this ain't it, then chuck it and go back to your Quadrants, and now you know. That's literally what the only way to really find out. Don't be like me and go buy 20 boxes to find out that needle sucks, you know. So I think you might like them, man. You might, but I don't know. So I just think that for like everyday use, they're just a good, decent needle. So especially when people are just getting into it and they don't want to spend $35-$40+ a box, they're good quality needles. They're pretty sharp, you know. I found that I've been digging them. So yeah, Andy, I'm gonna go with dynamic black for ink.
Yes,
like just straight up a bottle.
You're not going to go wrong. Grab yourself an 8-ounce bottle of dynamic black ink
on the table back there.
Yeah, you're not going to go wrong. Grab yourself an 8-ounce bottle of dynamic black ink. From there on in, you can make. You've got solid blacks, and you can even make your own grey washes. Do you know what I mean with it?
Absolutely.
So it's it's a
Definitely.
good thing.
I wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just glitchy on my end. It's probably just glitchy on my end. But yeah, I would definitely just go with dynamic. Somebody's saying triple black. I mean, you can if you want. It's a little bit thicker. I don't see much of a difference, to be quite honest. I did a video on it. It's on the channel if you want to check it out. I tested them both out in my leg. I will say that over the long haul, as I look at them later, they're on top of my legs. I do go to the restroom every day, so I do see them every day. And I will say it looks like the triple black has maybe got maintained a little bit more richness over time. So I don't think it's complete utter garbage. I just don't think that if you're looking for this dramatic 3 times darker kind of a thing, it's not going to happen. So yeah. Anyhow, that's that. So I think that pretty much lays it out there when it comes to the ink. I think we're both on the same boat there, huh, Andy? Give yourself some dynamic black. There's tons of other brands. There's tons of other everything, but you're just trying to get into tattooing some fake skin. You may never tattoo human skin. You may tattoo fake skin and go, this is way harder than I thought, or this is stupid. And you know what I mean? You get out of it. We're trying to prevent you from buying the kitchen sink and everything else, all to find out it's not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Danik brings up a good point. Well, he's actually not messing around with this comment. This is legitimate comment. Make sure to buy the dynamic black that says made in the USA. If not, it might be a knockoff. Yeah, be careful buying your dynamic black on Amazon because, you know, if you read the reviews, it's totally mixed. People are like, no, it's legit. No, it's not. But if you can't find it anywhere else, I'm pretty sure Painful Pleasure, you can pick yourself up this without needing all the credentials that other places may require. Just letting you guys know if you're worried or thinking about it. So
like I said, if you're in UK, you can go. There's a few places. I've just currently swapped from a big user to Tattoo Everything Supplies. Their prices are as they should be. They're not inflated on a big company or anything like that, and the service is great. So I would probably have a look at them if you're in UK. Tattoo Everything Supplies. They're pretty good in UK.
Yeah, definitely. That's good too. That because I know we got UK. There's also Canadian watchers and stuff like that. So it's nice that you know what I mean. You know what you're talking about there. But yeah, Ultimate Tattoo Supply is also another one as well. That you can feel a little bit safe. You're gonna pay a little extra at some of these places, not necessarily for the product, but sometimes just for the shipping. So if you think ahead and you get a few things in that cart that you want, pay for the shipping. But when it comes to ink, I just wouldn't why risk it? We're talking about a $20 bottle of ink, even if they charge you $20 to ship the dang thing, which is crazy. That's an 8-ounce bottle. That's gonna last you a while, especially if you're just tattooing some fake skin or occasionally here and there. So
just a quick one to come from Jeremy Dennis. It's just basically just and have you tried the Union Jack Dynamic? Right. What I will say no, and what I believe about the Union Jack Dynamic is that that's their equivalent. I may be wrong, so don't 100% quote me because I haven't done my homework on it. That's for Europe buyers. That's European. That's EU REACH compliant because obviously UK has got a different compliance to the EU, and I believe that the Union Jack is Dynamics entry into the EU REACH compliant one. Technically, it should be the same as the standard one, but it's just compliance for different countries.
Heck yeah! Thank you, Andy. Oh, this is another thing. Yes, triple black sucks to make gray wash. I tried it. Yeah, I don't do. If you're gonna use triple black, it's great to just have it as your black, and then cut the rest using your standard dynamic black. And we're not even going into gray washes or true grays or any of that today. We're just pretty much sticking with what you absolutely need. From there, you got to go watch videos and learn and do what you got to do to figure out the rest. There's plenty on my channel. Andy's got some information on his channel. There's just so many other people with channels. Go watch everybody. I mean, literally watch everybody. You might watch someone go, that's stupid. Then leave it and move on to the next person. You might watch something I'd say, be like, I don't like that. So be it. Okay, so we got ink. So we got our tattoos. We got our power supplies. We got some needles. We got some ink. Now we need simply a place to put our ink and the ink caps. And you got smaller ink caps, we'll call it. Let me grab one of these. There's tons of sizes, guys. There's tons of sizes, right? But for me, I like to have a smaller, as if you can see these. You probably just see my fingers. Yeah, okay, whatever. I like to have a smaller ink caps and then larger ink caps. And if you're just getting into it, it doesn't really matter. I would go with something kind of in between, would you say, Andy? That way, if you start to mix some gray washes, you got to make sure that your needle groupings can fit into the cap,
Yeah.
That's important. That's why a lot of times I'll use, something a little bit larger. It looks probably small on TV, on YouTube. I think this is a number 17.
Yeah.
Cap.
But that cap that you've just put up is a good indicator of what sort of cap you should be looking at, because
with the flat bottoms.
Yes, they've got wide bottoms.
Yeah, that's
you can get them the tapered in at the bottom with a flanged top. Now, I've had them ones, and I'll be honest, I've covered my clients in ink. I've cocked the top of it with needles, and it's gone spinning through it, and I've covered it. So I use flat bottom caps.
Flat bottom girls, huh?
I use 8s, a size 8, which is tiny. I use a 13, and I think it's a 15 I use. Now, the size 8, like you say, you've got to make sure your needles, the size 8 will take up to, especially with the Mass Pro, will take up to a 15 bug pin mag.
Ooh, excuse me.
Anything bigger than that, you can't fit it in.
Right.
But for every day, if I want to go somewhere in between, I would say probably somewhere like a 12, 13.
Yeah.
It's an all-round cap.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, I keep it all written down because I can't remember what caps I use, because I buy them in bulk, so I don't have to remember it for like a long time. I got another year till I got to buy more, but I'm pretty sure the main caps I use, I mix all my black and gray in these larger caps, and then color a lot of times in the smaller caps, depending on what you're doing. Yeah, throw a little Vaseline on the bottom. It won't matter. It does. I still think it matters, man. Even a little Vaseline, the flat bottoms just hold better. Also, I've ordered some, which I don't know why I ordered. I can get it at the store, but some double-sided tape. And I'm just going to start laying double-sided tape down and plopping my caps down that way, because I don't know. You just start to streamline things as you go. I'm spending time dipping every cap into some A&D and stabbing it down. And then when you got like 20 caps out, because you're doing color pieces, all that A&D or Vaseline that you're using to hold down your caps, just kind of gets messy. So I've ordered some double-sided tape, stick that down, then plop my caps on that. So hoping that works out. I'll let you guys know. I'm sure plenty of people probably do this, but
yeah, there's a lot of them saying ink cup holders. I've never bothered with them. It's just something else to either piss about with.
I hate those things. I hate
clean. They're annoying. They're just absolutely annoying. Because I don't know about you, Dave, when I set my ink caps out, I like to have them spread.
Yeah,
I have a space in between, and then I like to, especially if I'm doing colour, I'll have my blues here, space, greens here, space, yellows, space, pink, space, whatever, and like that. And with ink cap, it's just like, nah, I'm not messing around with them things. I've got enough to mess around with as it stands, and I don't want to be cleaning them. I don't want to be disinfecting them, or you're buying disposable ones, and it's just another waste of money. For sake, you've already got your Vaseline or your A&D out, so just glue them down. It's tried and tested. Tried and tested.
And Andy, that's just, it's like you said, I think the biggest thing for me is that's just one more thing on your station that you have to sterilize when you're done.
Yeah.
Or if there's somehow disposable ones, it's just one more thing. Now, I will get off on a tangent here. I usually use plenty of needles, anywhere from 3 to 7 needles by the time my whites are done. And so I usually lay a paper towel out, line it out, mark each needle I'm using so I can set them back in the right spot. But I am going to order the stent. Wow, my brain took a total fart, like crazy. Needles, good Lord, needle holders. So they have like disposable needle holders. So you can lay your needles out in them, keep them nice and organized and clean and, streamlined. So I'm going to get some of those. But anyhow, when it comes to the ink holders, never been a big fan of them. They always kind of, I don't even like when I see them in photos and stuff. I don't know. A kit I bought years ago before I even really started tattooing came with them. And so I always, when I see those, I think of that machine and that setup, and it was always just a horrible thing. But, again, if you use them, you use them. But
I mean, is it anonymous? Just a quick side note. What's a good hard-hitting wireless machine under $500? I've just, anonymous, we spoke about it on Dave's channel, and I've had it on here, and I've done one on my own channel when we were wrapping it up. I've just literally, and a lot of people also in the comments have bought this machine. I bought that up
there right now.
Yeah, I bought the Ambition Taut, and basically It comes installed with a 4mm cam. It's brushless motor. It's direct drive. It's small. It comes with, you buy the universal batteries, the Quark batteries. They've been great for me.
I've been using them too.
You also get 2 extra cams, a 4.5 and a 5mm. Now, I've been rocking this machine every single day since I got it. It's never given me a problem. I've never run out of battery. One battery lasts me all day. And like I say, it's effortless to use. It's been effortless to use. And also, I showed you, I think I went in studio and I showed you even wrapping it up, putting a grip on it, wrapping it up and everything. Yeah. But it's been great for me. It's way under $500, depending on where you get it from. But like I say, it's Ant Rock's just ordered my second Ambition Torch. It's kicking ass.
Right.
Cool. I mean, Chris, he's got 3. You know what I mean? And there's a few other people hit me up on here that have ordered them and just asked a few questions. No problem.
Yeah, and those batteries are what we were talking about early on. That come with that torch, or it comes with it, but you can also order them separately too. And like I said, I love them. The customer service has been good. And again, that's kind of what's nice about having a machine that doesn't have a proprietary battery, because then you can go buy whatever kind of battery you want to get. And for $60 a piece, they're nice looking batteries. They run well. They have a good display.
Yeah. Packaging that they're coming is unbelievable.
I'm going to grab
it. It's Waldo, you also love the torch. That's another one that was using torch.
I use their batteries, and they come in this freaking pretty nice box. Not that you necessarily need this, but it's pretty nice. And then here's the little batteries for $60. Like I said, I hooked them up, measured them. They're reading good. They come across like everything's solid on them. And ordered 2. One came with a hiccup in it. Hit up the company, and they sent me another one. Like,
it says
no questions.
Another.
Yeah, they did. They were like, "Hey, can you just send us a video showing?" It's like, yeah. Took a quick video, sent to him. Like, okay, super nice. I'm like, really? That's it? You're just gonna? Oh wow, freaking awesome! I thought I was gonna have to fight them. I've been through this crap before, and yeah. But hopefully that answers their question.
Yeah, I mean, just the other thing. It says, does it take Mass Pro cartridges? Yes, I use Mass Pro cartridges. I don't use anything else but Mass Pro. So the Torch and the Mass Pro go together, no problem. I'm running the 4.5 cam, and on it sound, and I've got no qualms or anything about the machine. It's not let me down. It's nothing. It's not done anything weird and wonderful. It's super easy to clean, strips apart, super easy to clean. Job done.
Yeah. Cole asks, what's the best size needle to shade with? Now I'm just going to tell you my 2 personal favorite curve mags are going to be a 15 curve mag and a 7 curve mag, but you're probably going to have better success with the 15 curve mag, in my opinion, when you're just going at it. That's a good, well-rounded mag to kind of get comfortable using, because if you get comfortable with the 15 bug pin curved mag, then again, you can go up, you can go down, you're going to have some similarities. There's no perfect answer for any question you could possibly ask. There's no perfect answer. It's just kind of ballpark stuff. What should I run your machine at? You have no idea. I could say 7.5 volts, but that could be a little high on, let's say, a wand. It could be a little low on another machine, right? But 7.5, I don't think you're going to blow holes in anybody with whatever machine you're using, and you adjust fire from there. All right, our next thing up, Andy, is, all right, we've done ink caps. I got gloves on the list. We kind of need gloves. I mean, even if you're doing fake skin, you're messing with the ink, you're going to get crap on your fingers. You're going to blah, blah, blah. Plus, you need to get comfortable just tattooing wearing a glove. There's nothing worse when you're watching a TikTok video. I don't even watch them. Sometimes people send them to me. And they're just bare skin, and they're just tattooing themselves. So it's not like they're worried about getting people sick and this, that, and the other, but it's just bad practice. You want to look down the road and go, eventually I would like to tattoo human skin maybe. Or I just don't want to be scrubbing the ink out of my fingers or whatnot. So definitely get a glove. Now, there's pretty much 2 kinds of gloves. There's more than this, guys, but there's essentially 2. You got latex and nitrile. Those are like the main two. And you got some other stuff in between there, but I try to stay away from latex gloves because some people are just allergic to latex and they might not know it. You may not know it. So I try to stay away from them. Get a nitrile glove. I don't have any sitting here. They're over there. But anyhow, you could probably figure out what a nitrile glove is. Do you have any thoughts on those, on gloves, Andy? It's kind of a pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. What I do say, I prefer to wear black gloves. Some people wear pink. Some people wear, you know, I just like to wear black because then if I've got ink on them or bits of blood or whatever, it's not freaking claying out. But I never use anything other than nitrile. For like you say, latex. People just so many people out there with latex allergies that don't know they've got it.
Right.
And it's not worth it. It's just not worth taking that extra risk.
Yeah.
And that. So
there's not a huge cost difference. Maybe a little bit, I think, but I don't think it's huge. All right. So we got gloves. All right, there you go. There's your thoughts on gloves, right? Next up, I have on here, we're going to get into some other stuff, but all right, so we have the machine, we got the needles, we got the ink, we got stuff to put our ink in, we got gloves. I'm thinking, even though we're practicing on fake skin, we want to, like somebody else said in the comments, we want to practice like we're going to do the real thing. And so I would say we need some sort of wrap to wrap the machine, Andy. I mean, if not, even if you're just on fake skin, do you absolutely have to? No, but you might get ink on it. You might get other stuff on it. If nothing else, you're practicing getting that machine wrapped up. You're practicing using and adjusting your machine with wrap on it. Overall, it's just a good thing to have. Now, for wrap, we could use saran wrap. You could quite literally use saran wrap. So I'm not telling you got to spend a bunch of money. But what I use, guys, is I use pen machines. So I use clip cords most of the time, right? Clip cord sleeves, bam, you know, slide machine and battery into the bag. There are videos on this, guys. There's tons of videos. We're not going to go into detail on how to do all these things. Most of you guys know, but you could use sandwich bags to wrap your machines, all that. Andy's got a video talking about how he specifically wraps his, and you can use wrap grip tape if after, well, you know, bandage tape. If after you get the plastic on, you want a cushiony grip, you know, you can use that. You can use foam, paper towels. We won't go into detail on those, I don't think. But I mean, what do you think? And it should,
I mean,
necessity or do we? The conversation is, what do we need? Do we need this or do we not need this?
Do we need it if you're just working on fake skin? Not necessarily. But again, Dave, it doesn't cost a lot for this stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
So what I would say is get into a good practice now. You can use saran wrap. You can use clip cords are so inexpensive.
Yeah, this whole box will last a long ass time, man.
Yeah, I mean, then I use, depending on which machine I've got, whether it's a proprietary battery or whether it's a universal battery, I wrap them two different ways. But that's another thing. I did one on mine, but I use, instead of using big ass saran wrap or cling film, I have one that's 2 inches wide, and you can just wrap it round like that, up and over the top. And you can go on Amazon to buy that. And well, let me wrap my brain now. It is tattoo eyebrow protection film. There's 150 foot on a roll, and you can just wrap it round.
Yeah. Which I thought was awesome. It's the first time I'd seen that little saran wrap till you were showing it.
So
I have,
cool.
like, the handheld saran wraps were like, you know, about yay big for wrapping my stuff, but I love that you had that little roll of saran wraps. Well, that's awesome.
D-Miz, yes, I do.
I'm going to pop it up right now. D-Miz, right now, you're going to see at the bottom of the screen roll across as Andy's channel, the_tattoo_studio. And if you guys want your work critiqued this week, we're going to be doing it on Andy's channel. And you don't have to be there. You don't have to send it in live. You can send it right now, all the way up to Wednesday or Thursday, right? So you may want to get it in on Wednesday. And we're going to start from the bottom. Is that correct, Andy? And work our way up and just look at all of them on his channel over there. So go over there, subscribe, make sure you have notifications turned on so you're available. So, you know, maybe YouTube will let you know that we're live. Yeah. And we can check your guys' stuff out there. And again, that's going to be on Wednesday or Thursday, correct, Andy?
That's
kind of
right.
keep
We
them
have
on
the
their
Wednesday,
toes a little
Thursday.
bit.
You are, Dave? Sorry.
I said we're keeping people on their toes, we're not committing yet to a Wednesday
Yeah,
or
not
Thursday.
committing 100% because obviously it depends on, well, commitments between yourself, myself, what we've got going on. But it'd be either a Wednesday or a Thursday. Past few have been a Thursday, haven't they? Which has worked out quite good. I did manage to get a live art at studio on Tuesday, which I might even get to go this Tuesday actually as well. But I'll just swap rooms. I think I'm probably going to tackle removal room this time.
Oh, that'll be fun.
But like I said, yeah, it's. I forgot what I was saying. I've just had a brain fart now. I've just had a right brain fart. But yeah, so it's either Wednesday or Thursday. But the best way is to go over to the channel, subscribe, notifications, press the all bell, and then hopefully you get a fingers crossed. YouTube does its stuff. You'll get a notification. My channel's not as easy to find as what Dave's is because it hasn't got as many subscribers. It's not as, shall we say, established. But hey, there we go.
We'll get it there. We'll get it there. We're working on it, guys. Show Andy's channel some love. One more time, I'm going to throw that up at the bottom of the screen, guys. There it is. _tattoo_studio. Send a piece of your work into Andy.
Yeah. Like I said, but going back to wrapping it up, and you've got the grip tape. You see, most people use grip tape, whether you're practicing or not. You need to find out what grip works for you. So whether it's just plain machine with a little bit of grip tape around it, whether you need to put loads of grip tape around it. I've even shown how to do, because I had problems with lining. I had problems myself with lining.
Sure.
I've got quite big hands, so I need a really fat grip. So what worked for me, I got told to use a fatter grip, and I've shown you what I use. It's over on my channel. I've shown you what I use to bulk the grip out. Plus, it also takes some of that extra vibration out of your machine while you're using it for longer periods of time. And then I do wrap it with grip tape. So that's just something. So think about, but you're going to have to find out what grip works for you. Fat grip's not going to work for everybody.
Right.
They might prefer a thinner grip, or they might prefer somewhere in between. You've got to find that out. But once you find your grip out, it's like you, David. If you like a fatter grip, don't you?
Probably like a medium. I've seen some people that like baseball, so I would call mine like a medium.
Oh no, I mean mine's like that, so it's proper medium.
About 10 inches. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, but I couldn't go to using a skinny little machine. I couldn't either. I just couldn't do it.
I've tried. Yeah, I think it's important to get used to using this stuff now, and that's why I think I put it on the list of stuff you definitely want to have. And you don't necessarily have to put a grip per se, but wrap that machine up. Get something to wrap the machine up. It's on the list of things I think you need to have when you're getting into tattooing. Some way to wrap your machine. All right, so the next thing, we got the machine wrapped, we got the gloves, we got the ink, we got the needles, we got the power supply, we got the machine. Now we need the fake skin. And after that, we'll get to some stuff we also need. But some fake skin. I think it goes without saying, Andy. A lot of people get their fake skin on Amazon, and I don't think that's the horrible per se thing to do. But I will say, if you're going to, make sure you're getting the thicker fake skin, the 3mm stuff, right? I got some various kinds here. This is some Amazon fake skin, right? But it's not the paper thin stuff. I mean, that is like, you can literally see through that stuff. Don't mess with it. Bradley, I got your message. I'll be getting back to you later on today. But also, this is that thicker stuff, right? It's still thin. It's 3mm.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel the greatest, but if you're going to use it, use this. Next, we got some Real Skin from the brand Real Skin. This has got a little bit more of that realistic feel to it. It's a little more stretchy. It's going to bounce a little bit when you're tattooing it. So it gives you a little bit more realisticness in your tattooing. You're going to have to, we'll say, push down on a little bit, restrain its bounce, if you will. It reacts a little bit better. No fake skin is like human skin. We've been over this a lot. But it definitely, this is a really good decent piece. If you're going to take this serious, I would definitely invest in some real skin. There's also Pound of Flesh. That's really good stuff too. I've used it as well. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's up to you guys. But again, if nothing else, Real Skin, REEL Skin. Another decent one, this will be the last one, is True Skin. It's also quite thick. It's got a little bit of elasticity to it. And you can get this on Amazon as well. I do believe that's where I had gotten it from. But this is a good quality fake skin as well. But you need to have a fake skin. You have to test your machine out. You have to test techniques out. You got to learn some stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are You Later says Real Skin is on offer now, 50% off. So good time to pick up some fake skin, brand Real Skin if you can. But it matters. It really does matter. Do everything you can to avoid that paper thin fake skin. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to end up falling out of love with tattooing before you even fall in love with it. Yeah, but people are talking. Let's see. True Skin, difficult to get in Belgium and very expensive. Okay, so if True Skin is too expensive where you live, definitely understandable. You want to find a happy medium. Same with needles and whatnot. What are your thoughts, Andy? I don't mean to talk so much on the process.
No,
I mean, through a few demonstrations of some pieces there.
You see, the thing is, if you're on a budget, what I'd say, and you're going down Amazon route, make sure it's 3mm thick. Don't use anything under 3mm. It's not going to be very consistent for the work or putting it in. You still may struggle depending on who you're buying it off because it varies so much.
Yeah.
But like you say, other than that, it's been that long. It's hard for me to comment on false skin because it must be 10 years or whatever it is, since I don't even know whether it was around, but I've had to go on some false skins and that lately. I just straight up don't like them, I'll be honest. But I've tried the cheap ones, the super thin ones. I've tried the 3mm ones. I've tried the branded ones. What I will say to you is most of the branded ones are always going to be better than the unbranded, cheaper stuff, whichever route you go down. And that if you can afford the branded ones, go for it. If not, and you are on a strict budget, at least get the 3mm ones off. If you're getting them off eBay. But what I found with the 3mm ones, if you get them, put them in not boiling water, as hot of water as you can, with plenty of soap before you use them. And I found they work better. The pan scrubbers, them green pan scrubbers that you get that are really coarse. Yeah, soap. Hot soapy water with green pan scrubber and scrub like hell front and back, on them.
Right.
And then take them out, dry them, leave them outside, and then use them. I found them a lot better once I'd done that. It seems to get like either top coating, or it's like a release agent or whatever it is that's on it. It's, I just found it worked a little bit better. It's never going to be great
because it's got that comes from factory weird sort of I don't know, it's not like an oil or slime, but it's something kind of in there, almost like it's pre-lubricated, but in a weird way. But yeah, you can definitely find this stuff on Amazon if that's your go-to place. There's nothing wrong with that. I get a lot of stuff there too in a pinch, just because shipping can be quick sometimes if I'm being lazy and forget to pre-order some stuff. So again, there's tons of stuff there. So that's going to pretty much cover fake skin, guys. Get a good quality if you can. And there's varying in good qualities. Just stay away from that paper thin stuff. They come with all the kits. If you can stay away from a kit, it's going to be your best bet as well, guys. We're laying this stuff out there so you can go out and go, I don't exactly know what I want, but I know that if I'm better off piece parting this stuff together myself than getting wrapped up in a kit. And sure, it all comes, but half of it's not really the greatest stuff. All right, so next up, Andy, we got the fake skin. We need to make a stencil for it.
Stencil.
We're going to bring up stencil paper. This is just the product I use. And so that's what I'm going to go with. I use Spirit. Now, again, like every other company, they're always changing things up. Sometimes you get a batch that's good, and sometimes they do things differently. It's not quite as good. But no less, you're going to want stencil paper for even if you're hand stenciling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be freehand. Now's not the time. So we're talking about what you need and what you don't need. Technically, you don't need stencil paper to practice tattooing, but it's important to have it, right? I mean, you're going to sit there and freehand onto your fake skin and follow the lines or whatever. You might as well lay yourself down something nice. Even if you're using it by hand, you're not using a machine, you're making your stencil by hand. Go find, there's videos on that as well, but just know you need stencil paper. Andy?
Yeah, you need stencil. And another thing, if, like Dave says, technically you don't need it, but it's nice to be able to draw something and put it on. What I did a few times when I've been on stencil paper is I've got myself, and you want to do it quick, and you're not bothered about you want to do it. If you're practicing lines or curves or things, I've just got myself a little scrap of fake skin. If you get yourself a ballpoint biro pen, a ruler, you get a ruler, and you get a cup. You can draw straight lines, you can draw curved lines, and you can just draw pretty patterns on it with ballpoint pen. And it's pretty much, as soon as you've done it, ready to go.
That's good. That's good.
All
that cuts down on needing stencil solution and other stuff that we're going to get into.
All I will say is, don't use a black ballpoint pen. Use either a blue. I preferred either green or red. But I know you use Spirit, and we went the other week about the stencil machine that I've got here, and that you needing a decent stencil. But that, believe it or not, that is just cheap Amazon paper, is that one? You know, thermal paper.
Yeah.
It's not very good in that machine that I've got there, but it's very good for hand stenciling with.
Nice.
It's so inexpensive. It's very good for hand stenciling with. And it puts a lot of carbon down. You know, as long as you've got a good sharp or a good surface that you can get enough pressure on, which is same with anyone,
sure,
it will put a lot of carbon down, and it will put a lot of carbon, onto a lot of stencil onto the skin, and that. But like I said, this is a cheap.
So you're saying people can get suggesting that if you're doing hand stenciling, that the stuff you see on Amazon that's like no name, this stuff is fine for doing some hand stenciling.
Yeah, for doing hand stenciling, just all I would say is just make sure you use a thick enough point, and you don't want all that's sharp, because you'll go through it. It's got to be of a dull point.
Yeah.
And like I say, for hand stenciling, not a problem. It's fantastic. Puts a lot down. It stains the skin well, and everything. It's just that the thermal machine that I have, I quickly bought some. I've had that ages, but I quickly bought it. It doesn't like that. It does prefer the stencil machine. The thermal stencil machine does prefer a more expensive paper. But for hand stenciling, no problem. That paper, surface, dull point, light box or whatever, and away you go. No
problem. Good. Actually, there's quite a few people here that use that for hand stenciling. They hand stencil, they use it, they like it. And somebody says the D-Ink hand stencil is a true way to go. Yeah, if you like doing that sort of thing, I think once you start dealing with complex pieces and stuff, I'd love a stencil machine. I'm just going to say, but you don't need one. And we'll get to the point where you might want one, and we'll talk about that. But I hand stenciled a lot in the beginning because I didn't invest in a stencil machine because I didn't need one until I did. The next thing, Andy, is we got the hand stencil made. Now we got to adhere it to our fake skin, and I think we're both on board with what we like to use maybe for human skin, which would be anchored. We both like anchored. There's plenty of good brands, but I would say when tattooing fake skin, though, and we've heard it even from this chat, it's going to be Speed Stick.
Yeah.
Speed stick for fake skin. It's seems to work the best for fake skin because the stencil solutions that we use on human skin work great, but they don't work that great or as good as just a speed stick, deodorant stick on there, stick it kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, we both use this stuff.
Yep. Yep. I'll use that for a long time.
I used it for a long time. Don't get me wrong, it's good. And it's okay to use more so, like I say, on human skin.
Yeah.
Just as things have come along, just found it a lot harder to use this stuff, and they get a lot more bleeding out, and it's not quite as sticky, not quite as tacky as the anchored.
Yeah, that's what I found too, Andy.
I will be honest. I do think the anchored is a little bit more dearer than this, isn't it, Dave?
It's what now?
I think it's a little bit dearer than stencil stuff is anchored.
What does dearer mean?
More expensive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I bought this for that video I made a while back testing them out. So I can't remember, but it was a little bit harder to find and it was a little bit more expensive. You are correct.
Far superior. I do think it's far superior.
It is. It is. I agree with you there, man. Yeah. It just sticks, like you said. It sticks. It's still when you're doing those wraparounds, and it just sort of you push it down and it stays there, and then you can push the other side down and that stays there. I don't know. The stencil stuff just lacked that stickiness. Where I used Electrum, which I liked. I had that stickiness to it, but it was hazing my stencil. You know, it was blurring the lines a little bit. It didn't work that great for finer detailed stuff. And I think that's what brought me to Anchored. And I'm happy that we're both on the same boat on that one.
What I do find with Anchored, like I say, Anchored is a lot more forgiving. If you just happen to, even if you just do time it slightly wrong, you still hardly get any bleeding out on it. You know, stencil, you hardly get any bleeding out.
Yes,
barely. Stencil stuff, if you do it, if you time it wrong, it's just like you're taking it off again because it's just a blurred smudge.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I just find it. Yeah, I just find it's worth paying that little bit extra, going that extra mile, and especially on human skin.
Yes.
For me, there's no going back. There's no going back now.
No, unless somebody comes out with something else. Yeah. But no, I mean, you're right. When it came to stencil stuff, you know, you had to get that just the right tack, you know, and I still do the same thing when it comes to Anchored. I still get that. I know what I like it to be. I don't want it overly wet. I want it just almost just really absorbed into the skin. And but yeah, with stencil stuff, I also really had to make sure even more so that it was right there. And I would always get a little bit more of a double print if it wasn't perfect with getting the hand on there just right. But with the Anchored, the stencil holds better in my opinion as well. Also, the prep prior to doing that plays a big part in that as well. But But yeah, when it comes to fake skin though, guys, the speed sticks like $2, maybe with inflation, probably $20 now. But you can get them at the the CVS or whatever sort of place you got around, you know. Okay, so now we got the stencil onto the fake skin. I think the other things we're probably gonna have to look at is like an A&D and ointment because we're dealing with fake skin. Green soap isn't gonna get that ink off, all that. An ointment will help while you're working, but what's that other thing, Andy, that you like to use for cleaning the fake skin?
When you're cleaning and somebody's going to probably beat me now into chat with it by the time I finish rabbling. But instead of, if you want to clean your ink off fake skin, baby oil. You can either put it on a rag, put it on, wipe it off with a clean rag, or near end, if you want to know, you can put a couple of drops on, rub it in with your fingers, wipe it off. Winning Streak says coconut oil, so obviously that works. I know somebody had said that before. But like I say, I just found baby oil, and I know it works. I've never had a problem with it. It gets everything off, keeps it super clean, and that. So, but like I say, that's what I liked about it. Yeah, and I tried all sorts, Dave. I tried
Yeah.
A&D, I tried Vaseline, green
Right.
soap, short of actually sticking my tongue on it and licking it to death. It's and we're like, what am I going to use?
Yeah, yeah.
And that, what's that? What's Winnie Street? Kind of baby oil.
What's up? Winter Streak baby
The
oil.
way you say baby oil, yes, sir. I don't know what you're on about here.
Wait, what's
Winnie
happening?
Street uses coconut oil, and obviously that works as well. But I don't know what it means with baby oil.
I don't know, baby oil. Baby oil. You say baby oil funny, Andy? Let me hear
Baby
you say
oil.
it.
I must say it funny.
I don't know. I think that was pretty straightforward.
But Tibbetts World is saying let it soak in bleach. I'm not on about at the end of it. At the
Yeah,
end of it,
no,
yes,
this
you
is
can clean
just
it all
while you're
off.
tattooing.
This is while you're tattooing. When it gets muddy and murky and you try to wipe it off and it don't clean off properly, just take some baby oil, rag, wipe it off it comes.
Right, Sean. Okay. Let's see. So we got our baby oil. We got our ointment, whatever we're using. Now you're probably gonna need a paper towel of some kind. Paper towel. I like blue shop rags, but they can be a bit more pricey, and you probably don't need that when you're tattooing some fake skin. But yeah, get it. And really, when it comes to a paper towel, if you're gonna use a paper towel, is I would say get a good paper towel, right? Get like a Bounty or something. It's going to make a big difference. You get the real cheap ones, they're going to be breaking. You're going to use a ton of them anyhow. And that's what you're going to use to wipe off the excess ink, baby oil on, wipe off kind of a thing. So, guys, there's other stuff for sure, but that's what you, in my opinion, you absolutely are probably going to have in order to tattoo some fake skin. And I know it took us an hour to get to the point of everything you're going to need to tattoo fake skin, but now we're moving on, right? Here's some questionable things I just put down here that you might want to look into, even on maybe some fake skin, is you might want some squirt bottles, right? Maybe you might want some bottles, right? You don't need them per se, right? But you might want. What's happening?
I'm going to say it again. Unfortunately, somebody slammed you $1.99 for me to say baby oil.
I made $1.99, so you can say baby oil?
For me saying baby oil. You want to keep slamming Dave $1.99 for every time I say baby oil. I'll stand on there for 2 hours and say it.
Yeah, we're going to be whoring you out, Andy. You get baby oil.
I think I'm going to get a bit embarrassed here because somebody's paid you for me to say baby oil.
Man, you're like, boy, I got to pop that. Where'd it go? Here we go. Win Street. Yeah.
You have to record it.
That's great. Okay. I can't now. Now I'm just gonna be hitting you up all the time. How about some baby oil?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, here we go. $1.49 from Winning Streak. A blue thumb down with nope written on it. Oh, wait, that's probably because I'm reading it over here. Oh, it shows it over here better. Oh, okay. I'm looking at the wrong chat. Nope. Here.
A blue thumbs down with nope written on it. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But give him another baby oil, Andy, just for the $1.49.
Is that a Winning Streak? Have I got to stop saying baby oil now?
Oh, maybe that's what they're getting at.
That's it. No more baby oil.
I see.
Stop it! I can't afford it. Just one more before you go. Then look, baby oil.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right. Okay. Focus. All right. So anyhow, some other stuff. Bottles. You might want some green soap. Maybe some alcohol, some isopropyl alcohol. You don't need it. Maybe just for cleaning your machine and whatnot. Some Cavicide if you want to but again, you're not dealing with any cross contamination here, so you're probably not going to need those things. Andy, we're going to jump into some things that you're going to need if you're tattooing human skin, some extra things. I put down a Stencil solution at this point. We're not going to use a speed stick once we're tattooing human people. But Windstreak's just, hey, we're doing some work over there, man. Doing some gloves. You need gloves? Yeah, we went over gloves.
Have I got to come closer and say, baby oil?
Does the body good, right? No
baby
oil.
You know as it goes. You see all my wrinkles when I say baby oil, and obviously this face doesn't use baby oil.
All right, so you're gonna need razors. Definitely gonna need razors. You can buy them in bulk. That's something you can absolutely get on Amazon. You can buy bulk razors. You can buy them by the box for like hundreds. Definitely good to have if you're going to be tattooing human skin.
You just keep rabbiting. I'm going to go to the bathroom again.
Yeah, go ahead, boss. Also, again, like I said, you're going to need a stencil solution. I wouldn't use speed stick on humans, right? That's fine to use on fake skin. On humans, there tends to be a level of cross-contamination. You could, again, rub that speed stick onto a paper towel and wipe paper towel onto them. But again, invest, get yourself some anchored. I really like the anchored. At that point, you're getting to that point, you're tattooing humans, you might as well. Some other stuff I like is isopropyl alcohol. This is a nice to have, guys. Some alcohol, prep the skin, right? You clean the skin with some isopropyl alcohol first thing, then shave the skin. If you do those backwards, it's going to burn a little bit, right? And then apply your stencil solution, then apply your stencil. It's going to make your stencil hold way better. I promise you that. Okay, so we got isopropyl alcohol. At this point, you're going to need some green soap or some blue soap or whatever kind of special remedied soap that they have these days. But anywho, you can get away with just some basic green soap. I'm trying to burn through these notes here. Squirt bottles. You're going to want some sort of version of a Cavicide, right? I use Cavicide to clean all my stuff. It takes 3 minutes to essentially do its job. You can spray it on, let it sit for 3 minutes, wipe it down. It's going to kill all the crap, right? You can clean your machines this way, you can clean other things in conjunction with some alcohol as well. They make other stuff that can do the job in 1 minute, right? So it's a 1 minute kill time versus a 3 minute kill time. They also have them in wipes. If you want to just pull them out, wipe at a time and do your thing there, you can do that as well. I have spray, I have wipes. So whatever I need to use, I got it. Can you shave the day before you tattoo yourself because I have skin irritations? I suppose you could. The main thing is you don't want the hair in the way. Also, it can cause some irritation to the skin as well if you're tattooing with hair there and whatnot. But yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. Unless your hair grows at some like crazy rate of speed, you should be fine. Sometimes clients will shave before they get in, and it kind of bums me out because I like to use alcohol to prep skin beforehand. And so if you just shaved, it might burn, or it's going to mean I can't really, really clean your skin good with some alcohol, which again is going to help the stencil stick better. Some other things you might want, some rinse cups, guys. I mean, you can also find these on Amazon, whatever you got to use, something to put distilled water in, rinse your cup, which brings me to another thing. You're going to want distilled water. Don't use tap water. Use distilled water if you're going to use water in your rinse cups. If you're going to make your gray washes using that dynamic black, make sure you have some water there. Let's see what else we got. Yep. Again, we talked about wrapping your machine. At this point, you're definitely going to want to have that down pat. And you're going to want to have a place to dispose of your needles. You might even want this before, but you don't absolutely have to have it. But now you're dealing with people's stuff, right? Their blood, their this, that, and the other. You're going to want to have a container that you can drop that stuff into when you're done. So you're not throwing it in the trash can and risking somebody else at that point, right? So those are the main things, which again, it's not a ton of extra stuff at that point that you really need to go into human skin. It's just certain extra things that you're going to need, which we briefly went over. Let's check out the chat here. I didn't really look over there, see if anybody had anything else to add to that. Then I think the fun part is we'll talk about what you might want in the future, the fun stuff, in my opinion. The stuff we can all geek out about, I think, when it comes to tattooing, in my opinion. How does stencil stuff work? That's what it's called. I don't understand, Josh. Are you making a statement? Yeah, that's what it's called. I don't know what's going on there. Winning streak. We'll see you later. Thanks for the fun. Appreciate it.
Paul says, gloves essential if you're tattooing yourself. Yes.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, you don't know where your hands have been. You can wash them, but we get dirt under his fingernails, everything. There's bacteria there. So yes, in my eyes, yes.
Definitely agree with you, Andy. And it's a good practice. It's good practice. I mean, for so many reasons, it's good practice. Some other things too, and I brought this one out because it's super cheap, guys. You can pick these stencil machines up. Some other stuff you might want to get moving forward, right, is you might get tired of doing the hand stenciling thing. After time, every day, you might get tired every so often, depending on how often you tattoo. So one of these cheaper stencil machines, I'm picking them up for probably under $150. And you just need stencil paper and the machine. What you got there, Andy?
That was the thermal stencil printing machine that I used. Basically, just feed it in from back, lift it up. That connects straight into your PC. So if you're using any design programs, Photoshop or anything, you can have even if you just go. A good thing if you're wanting stencils and you don't want to do them yourself, if you actually go onto Google and put in, and this is, believe it or not, this come from my wife. She found it.
All right.
Go on and put in colouring pages.
Oh, yeah, that's
colouring page. It just comes with images, just outlines. So kids, you can print them out for kids, to use. And then, like I say, you can resize them. Put your thermal printer in. This connects via a USB lead, to your computer.
Right.
Just to install your printer drivers, and you can print it straight out using one of these. This were very inexpensive with this one, and like I said, the only problem is, like I say, with these, they don't like cheap. This type of printer does not like cheap thermal paper. You have got to use a more expensive, thermal paper, otherwise the image quality, and it's only really any good for line drawings, and that if you wanted to do a bit more detailed than that, it's only good for, printing lines out.
Absolutely. And then Lawrence said he's been using the same machine since 2014, right? There's various versions of this, various brands, right? This happens to be a Dragonhawk. This was actually given to me a while, like when I early on in tattooing, and I can't believe it's still my tried and true machine. Like me and Andy have talked. I have other machines. I have the print on demand, we'll call them inkjet ones, and Andy loves his inkjet one.
Yep.
I don't mind mine, but I use this one because I don't know. It just works, and it gives me a really strong stencil, and I really like it. But you can move on to more expensive thermal machines as well, that you can just literally grab it, run it right through. Those are fantastic as well. They're just more expensive. And if you're in a shop environment where with multiple artists there, that might be a really good thing to have. They can just people can just come out, run their stuff through. There's those as well. But Andy, that's something, you've on fake skin, you've gone to human skin, you're getting into this thing. That's one of the first things I'm looking at. If I had to go back and redo this, I would be looking at a stencil machine of some sort.
Yes. Like I said, I've used that one. I prefer the inkjet.
Yeah.
Now, I use the inkjet every single day. I wouldn't be without it. And it is what it is. What I will say about the inkjet printers, they are crap for fake skin. You're better off with thermal printer on fake skin, in my eyes. It just lays down more ink and it stains the skin better. Now, I use I don't know what one it is, but I use an Epsom Eco Tank machine, and I use actual inkjet ink, and it's expensive, but it's good, and you probably get about 4,000, images out of it.
Wow, plenty. And Andy, I'm going to throw your channel up one more time. If people are interested and want more information about stencil machines and whatnot, we got a live on your channel that we talk about for like the first half hours. It's just stencils, which is fantastic. Machines, all of it. Andy's channel is, again, the_tattoo_studio. Go over there, give it a look. There should be something over there about stencils, and that would be the one we really go into depth about that too. So I just figured I'd give a chance to throw that up there while we were talking.
No, it's no problem. I think the ink for it, I'll be honest with you, I think a 4-ounce bottle of the ink is about $220.
But you're saying it gets you almost 5,000.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, look, a box of the spirits like $50, and that I think it's like 100 in there. So if you really do the math, you can probably find it cheaper. I don't remember. It's been a while. I usually buy a few boxes at a time. But Yeah, so it's not cheap. So the fact that you're getting
Yeah,
4,000 some odd for a couple $100.
it is. You've got to buy the paper to go with it, Dave, which
Right,
is probably
right.
around about
It's pretty cheap.
$45-50 for 500 sheets.
Mm.
Joey's put try Eco Stencil Solution by Electrum. It's half the price. Yeah, I've seen mixed reviews on that. Plus, I've only ever run machine on things, and I have seen some stencils done with the Eco, the Electrum, and I just don't think that the Eco Electrum is the same quality ink, the same intensity, the transfer, and everything as what I get out of the other one. So it's one of them ones that, for me, if it ain't broke, I'm not going to fix it.
Right, right.
But how long it lasts.
Interesting, though. Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, is I have the Stencil printer. I don't know what we call them, Eco Tank printers. And I think that I think the ink might not have been of the greatest quality. And maybe that's why I got a bad taste in my mouth about them. But like so many things, if you're going to go that route, you got to test it out and try different things so you figure out what works for you. I haven't gone down that road. I might in the future, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
So it's good that there's different people who have tried different things here who can attest to that.
Joey uses the Eco and he's never had a problem.
Great. Oh, nice.
That's great. It's just one of them things, like you'll know, Joey, and you was on about your cartridges earlier. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you were a bit dubious whether to try these cartridges because you use Quadrant. They work for you. That ain't broke. So why do I need to change my cartridge? Why do I need to fix it? And it's the same with my printer, basically, Joey. And that also, it's never had anything but the inkjet stencil ink through it. So
yeah, and you change that so rarely, to be honest, that you really have to commit to a change or just pour a little bit in, I'm guessing. And
well, it's weird, woman, because it has 4 tanks. You've got to put a little bit in 3 tanks, and then you fill your black tank up. And in 4 years, one bottle lasted me about 3.5 years.
Holy crap.
You know what I mean? So, and I've just bought a second bottle and put that in, and it's, so, and I've got loads left in tank.
Joey, you ordered some Mass Pro cards, man? I want to know what your thoughts are. It's always good to get multiple people.
Yeah.
To get an idea. Now, remember, you keep cost in consideration, but still, even for the money, I think they stay pretty sharp. The
thing you've got to look at as well is, I use a particular machine, Dave uses a particular machine, Dave uses a certain cartridge, I use a certain cartridge, Joe uses a machine,
right.
Danica uses a machine, we'll all use different cartridges. You'll try these cartridges, we could all try these cartridges, we could all try these machines, we'd all have mixed reviews.
Absolutely.
Some machines that Dave uses I might not like, vice versa, same with cartridges, vice versa. But it's just one of them that if they're so inexpensive that they're worth giving a shot, they're worth giving a try.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. I was like, you know what, I'll go for them. People have been telling me, they're actually decent, you know what. So I say, all right, I'll stop being stubborn. And again, are there better needles? Of course. But for the money, they're hard to beat. So another thing, guys, just to keep us moving along here. So we got a stencil machine. That's like one of the first things you definitely want to look into. There's some other stuff here. I mean, we're just going to throw a few out. So you might want an armrest. I would hope by this time you've found an armrest. Maybe you got one, again, off Amazon or somewhere else. I burned through a lot of Amazon armrests, all right? I get it where I want it, and I crank that sucker down. I tighten them up. Over time, that pop metal freaking tube that runs on the inside gets bent, gets pushed in. Before you know it, it's starting to move on you. So eventually get any armrest that works. Any armrest that's in your budget, it's going to last you. But if you're all the time, you're going to want to invest in a better armrest, just like everything else. I went so far to build my own. I love it. I absolutely love it. Built it from the ground up, and various versions. But I also went and bought one of them like large ones. So different tools for different things. But look into an armrest. I definitely think that's something great. Let's see. This person asks, where can I buy the Mass Pro carts? I have a link in the description, guys. Literally in the description towards the bottom there. It'll take you right to the website where you can pick them up. I buy them straight from Mass Pro. There's also, you can save 10% if you use a link down there. I use the link too. It saves me on like shipping, or really takes off tax, to be honest. So anyhow, that is down there. There's plenty of other places you can find those too, guys. Oh, Joey, yeah, the super wide armrests are really nice. They are great. I love them. I built my own armrest too. That's like pretty medium size so that I can use it for a lot of things. But most of the time I find myself, is it back here? It's sitting right. I'll move my body out. It's sitting right there. I grab that sucker, wrap it up in plastic, and use that, because the whole arm can be there, right? It's cushiony, it's comfortable. But again, those are things you might want to think about as you're moving along. What do you want to get? What are you going to spend your money on? I also got an artist chair on here, Andy. I know some people I see them use computer chairs, and that's probably fine too. Yeah. But I like a hydraulic one because sometimes I want to be higher, sometimes I want to be lower.
I'll be honest. The thing with them is, I don't know about you. I've got an hydraulic chair. You spin it around, flip it, lay it back. I don't have the arms because I come with armrest things on it. I don't have them on it because I use a separate armrest. Like you're saying, I like a big wide top on armrest so I can get me, this parts of my arms on it as well. Now, mine, when it comes to legs, my legs are separate because some beds will come with a fixed foot. Like yours, Dave, you've got two leg rests, so you can actually have one down and one up, on your chair.
Yeah, that's back here, right? Yeah.
Because some of them mine's like that. Now, some of them have a fixed, it's both legs up, both legs down.
Yeah.
What I will say is, yes, they're handy to have and everything, but they are expensive.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A chair like that behind me, I think they're probably over $1,000 nowadays.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I got that for like $700 a few years back. And then the chair I actually sit on back there, I think that was a few $100s as well. But I love that chair. It's so comfortable. You got to sit there for hours and hours and hours at a time. You might want to look into getting a comfortable chair. Do you need that right off the bat? Of course not. This is all stuff look down the road at. This is the armrest I end up building. It weighs like 45 pounds. It is like a thug, man. Solid. And, we build our own armrests and what have you as well. But what I liked about this is that it is fully anywhere you want to put it, right? And then the actual material itself that, right here you loosen. This is steel, man. You can crank that down as much as you want. So that's something you might want to look into getting. These are great too. I think you can pick these up for a couple $100. Extremely comfortable for the client. They can throw their whole doggone arm over there and whatnot. So I think Joey asked if he could see it. I think that's what he was asking for. Don't know.
I mean, the chair that I use to sit on myself, I've tried a stool. Don't like them. I like something with a back on it.
Yeah.
And I've got and again, I think it was the wife that sourced them. So they're inexpensive, like a leatherette office chair, I don't know, some small chair with a small back on it. You can still spin around on it. It's on wheels. It's got a lower back, like yours, but I just prefer something to have a back on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried the stools and all sorts, and it's no good for me. It's, like I said, I prefer something on my chair with a back on it, and padded. And
this doesn't have that high back, but I know what you're talking about. This is more like a It's like, I don't know. It's huge. And it comes to like surface area to sit on. It feels good.
Yeah.
The back
That's it.
lumbar, you can pull this lever and it's going to come forward, backwards, depending on your size. But I went through a few, man, and I didn't like some of them. The wheels are super solid. All things to just consider, but no, you don't need this stuff when you're just getting into it. What else would you say, Andy? What do we got?
So you've got
good lighting. That'd be important.
It's what?
Good lighting.
Yeah. Lighting. Some good, crisp, white lighting. Mm-hmm. Not orange, not subtle lighting or anything. The more lighting you can get on your work area that's a crisp, white light, the better. And I'll be honest, it wouldn't matter how much light you put on my client when you were tattooing them, it wouldn't be enough, for the simple reason is I prefer to have an LED head torch, because I like to have the head torch angled exactly where it is, and I can just, if I move my head like that to look underneath, the light's underneath. Yeah, I'm not casting no shadows or anything, and it's just how I worked. I use an head torch, and I have them all racked up, just rechargeable things, probably 3 or 4 of them, just ready to go. And like I say, it wouldn't matter if you got big floodlights on them. I would still have to use an head torch.
And that's what I used for the longest time. And the only reason why I stopped using them is because I was trying to record myself tattooing, and the camera, every time I'd look over, that bright light would go away and the camera would refocus. And then I'd go to edit my footage. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's horrible because of this constant. So then now I have freaking like these giant ring lights that I use now. I've gotten so used to not having a headlight for recording purposes. But that is a fantastic thing to use. You don't need any light anywhere, really. You can put a good, solid, rechargeable battery headlamp on. You got floodlight right where you need it. They're inexpensive. You could take it anywhere, where your conventions or, I don't know where you're tattooing, but you could tattoo with it anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Smoke says smoke on there. I think I'll invest in a couple of head torches. Yeah, no problem.
They're great.
They're not very expensive either.
No.
I just got mine from Amazon. I went on, looked at reviews, see what deals they had and how bright they were and this, that, and other. And I just ordered what I thought would be best. Does anyone here use an ultrasonic cleaner when changing colours? I use a small one that the rinse cup works great. Just asking Lawrence, no, not really. I just use a rinse cup. All I put in my rinse cup is some Dettol, which helps break down the ink. But I've never had no need to use an ultrasonic.
I never use an ultrasonic either.
No. And it's like the equipment. And I don't know if anybody's ever had to do it, or whether you've ever had to do it, Dave. But everything's disposable. Everything's just about disposable nowadays.
It is, yeah.
Where before you've had to clean everything, dry everything, bag it up, and use an autoclave.
Yep.
Have you ever had to use an autoclave?
Yes, all the time. All the time. Every couple of days.
Yeah, I've got one in the shop, but that's for the piercing.
Yeah, it's a must.
And the thing is, what people don't realise is there's like 2 or 3 classes of autoclave, and when you're piercing, because you're using hollow tubes, same as if you're using, is it the hollow tips, the stainless, the surgical steel hollow tips, reusable tips for your coil machine, right? You can only use one type of autoclave, which is a class B. And people are using class N's and stuff like that. It's like, no, because it don't get inside all the tubes, it don't impregnate, and this, that, and other. Do
you still have to mail your results off? Like I said, we did piercing and all that stuff then, and tubes and everything was getting autoclaved and ran through the ultrasonic autoclaved, bagged and autoclaved and whatnot. But we had a spore test that we'd have to put in every single one of them, and then we'd have to mail that off to confirm it was good. So. But again, nowadays, and this wasn't that long ago, and plenty of people probably still use them too, even for tattooing, if they're using steel grips and stuff or metal grips, non-disposable kind of stuff. There, then yeah, they probably still use them, even if they're not just piercing. But
it's a no, Danica don't have a Prince Albert. But you know yourself, you don't have to put the spore tests in. The machine has a flash drive plugged into it.
Yeah,
which records everything. Which records everything if needed. But other than that, your bags, your autoclaving bags, on the back of them, if you turn them over, they will tell you on the indicators whether they've been done right, and they are actually
color coded.
They are actually what is it, sterilized or not?
Right. No, the bags had those too. I don't know. I was just I was an apprentice back in the day, back when we were doing that stuff, because the shop didn't use anything like we use today. So I'm grateful that I got to utilize all that stuff and whatnot, but I'm also grateful that we don't have to utilize all that stuff all the time anymore. Yeah, pretty much.
Dennis.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why it's so important to wrap your stuff, even the even the tip of the machine, if you want, or again, cleaning it well. See, we're talking about tubes back in the day, steel tubes that, again, there was no cartridge to really hold all this together in, a disposable cartridge. The needle was in the tubes, running in there, blood was in there, everything was in that steel tube. So that all needed to get, they even had disposable of that back then too. But again, most people were using the steel ones. They had to be autoclaved. Nowadays, a lot of that's contained in the cartridge, and then you're caviciding and cleaning stuff down after that. Or you can use disposable grips too that screw on, screw off. Just depending on the brand. I use a lot of disposable grips from Bishop, but they can get pricey over time. So,
but like I said, generally, pretty much as Dave says, But if he pops across to my channel and looks at the one that's named protection, the video that's named protection, I'll go over how I wrap it, and they come apart. The machines come apart, Jeremy, and I'll show you what I use. Then, once I've unwrapped it, I blow my machine apart and actually show you on there what I use and everything over there. So that's just something. If you want to have a quick look, it's entirely up to you. But yes, wrap them and then strip the machine, and cavicide, sani cloths, medical grade cloths, basically, for cleaning it.
And again, go check out Andy's channel. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now. It's the Tattoo Studio. Yeah. There's some videos up, some live stuff we've done up over there. If you want to get in on a tattoo critique, it's going to be on Andy's channel this week, coming probably Wednesday or Thursday. Send your emails to critiquemytattoo@gmail.com anytime leading up till Wednesday or Thursday, and we're going to look at them on Wednesday and Thursday on Andy's channel. So again, _tattoo_studio. Go over there, subscribe, ring the bell. And maybe YouTube will let you know that we're there. It's hard to say what YouTube will do. Sometimes they send out notifications. Sometimes they don't. Can't find a disposable grip for my machine. Right. You're not going to find them for all of them.
No.
Even some big names come out, and their disposable grips lag behind. Right. Some companies will tell you our grips are autoclavable. So you can autoclave depending on the grip. But again, if you wrap this stuff properly, you clean this stuff properly, you keep up with your equipment, you'll be fine.
Same again, Jeremy. The same video where I show you wrapping, I show you what I use for a grip and how I wrap my grip, and that's all in that same video, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It definitely, and I think that's one of the main videos over there. Daggone Danik.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So I have a biggest needle out, but like I say, if I still need a pair of tweezers, and a microscope to find it, Danik, and I still wouldn't be able to use biggest needle, would I? On you. It'll have to be a tiny little needle to get through that. Like I say, unless we're going to, unless you start putting some smart comments in and we upgrade you to biggest cock, then you can have it.
Some other stuff you might want. I'm almost done with all the stuff I've written down over here. What
Shane
else we got?
Wiseman.
Yeah, I think we hit the chairs. Colors. If you want more colors, get more colors. Stuff that you can acquire along the way. And the biggest thing I think we didn't actually talk about is going to be some sort of something you're going to want to look into. Now, again, on Andy's channel, we go into more detail about this, but I'm telling you what, you might want to look into a tablet of some kind. This is where the whole creative process goes down these days. Inside the app called Procreate. Without it, my current system would be useless without Procreate these days. No doubt I would just transition to some other version of software to do the same thing. But for me, I use the tablet. I use Procreate. So we need some way to make our pieces, put our stuff together, yada, yada. And then we can print that out, run it through Stencil machines, whatever. But you're going to want some piece of software to create your tattoos and to design your pieces, to make your stencils and what have you. Eventually, that's definitely going to be something you want to do. For me, I use an Apple tablet. You can use any kind of Apple tablet. If you want to use Procreate, you have to use an Apple tablet. Go to if you have questions like, Dave, what Apple tablet do I need to use? Go to the channel. I have a video where I go into detail about what tablet you want to get with what pencil. It was very confusing when I started looking into it years ago. So the time came, I made a video about it. I broke it down. There, you can find this stuff used and save a lot more money because the app is like $10 to $15, but it can cost you a few hundred at a minimum to get into a Apple tablet, which supports Procreate. Now, there are definitely other means to do a very similar thing. I just think Procreate does it the best. What that means, right, Andy? You got to commit to Apple. You got to commit. I think they do it the best, Andy. They do. Procreate does it the best.
That's it. I'm off. See you later. You know what I mean? That's it.
I think they really do. There's other apps that you can absolutely do this very, very, very similar things, almost exactly. But I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten too used to the dark side.
Yeah, I use, again, we've been through this over a man, but I use a Microsoft Surface Pro.
Heck yeah.
Tablet with their pen, and I don't have no problems. And I use Sketchbook Pro. Just costs you a few dollars, to buy that, from thing. And it's basically the same as Procreate. And I do my stencils, tracing, and everything through there. Jason, let's not get into this one. Which is better, Procreate or Microsoft?
Here we go.
If you like Apple, listen, best way we can put it, if you like Apple and you like Apple products, even myself, I would say, and you're comfortable using them, I would say, go get an iPad, use Procreate. You know what I mean? There's nothing out there. Even when you look at the reviews, there's nothing out there that compares. Apple Pencil is number one. But if you don't like Apple, like I don't, I just severely hate Apple and I just can't gel with it. So it's a case of a Microsoft one. I use, like I say, a Microsoft Surface Pro with their pen, which is great. It's all touch sensitive, everything, this, that, and other. And I don't have no problems. But like he says, if he's an Apple user, I would say Apple.
Tibbert says he hates Apple. Procreate is the best. I was never an Apple user, period, until I got the doggone Procreate. I wanted this Procreate. I seen it on people were using it. I was like, what is this thing? And it was just like when first time I bought a guitar, I bought it. I was like, great. And then it didn't play itself, and I hated it and sat over there until I learned how to use it. It was no different. Got the tablet, spent all the stupid money. I was like, great. Now I'm going to make these awesome tattoos, but I had no idea how to use it. And so it sat over there for a little while until I, took the time to figure it out. Once you figure it out, yada, yada. But again, like Andy can attest to, you don't have to have it. You don't have to give Apple, make them the only ones that can support us in the tattooing world. But it is, they got it locked on usability.
Yeah, Jason's putting, no, I'm sorry, I'm a Microsoft user. My wife has just connected me. Well, if you're a Microsoft user and you're used to using Microsoft, you're used to using Windows, I would say a Surface Pro.
Mm.
Unless you want to try Apple and an iPad and all their overpriced bloatware, and then completely burn your brain out and end up in a loony bin trying to work out their demented ways of using apps and this, that, and other. But that's just from an old fart that don't like Apple, as you can tell. I would use that. You'll feel more at home.
Someone said Procreate changed my life. Could never get by without it now. I know. I don't know if they suck us in and then they're like, we got you now. We own you. Yeah, because it's the same. Like I literally don't do anything else with my tablet. I have like some games on it, but I rarely play them because if my tablet's out, I'm working on tattoos, which pretty much feels like if I'm not tattooing, we're working on making tattoos with Procreate.
Just on about Procreate and iPads and this, that, and other, and you put it up on screen. Somebody says use a Samsung tablet. You can use the Sketchbook Pro on an Android device. It works on an Android device as well. And I tried it on an Android device. Now, the only thing that I found wrong, and I don't know which Android device you've got, is with the Apple Pencil and with the Microsoft pen, they are what they call active pens, that your screen senses when your pen's near it and it's accurate. Whereas with a lot of Android devices, they're only capacitive and they're not very accurate. They're not very accurate to where to put your pen nib as to where you're drawing. You could put your pen nib there, but your line just be outside of it, or you put your pen nib there and it starts further back. Whereas yourself with your Apple One, same thing, you go down, I get to see like a little dot or a cursor or whatever it is where the pen gets near it, so I know exactly where it's going to start, and so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah, that's it. The pencil is great, and it's extremely sensitive to. And some of the brushes I use are the sensitive ones because I can really just start light and then get thicker where I want. I don't know. It just feels really good. Now, Kane says he's been using Procreate since it cost $7.99. I bought it for $10, and I'm just assuming. I haven't looked. I'm assuming it's got to be like $15, $20 now. And even at that rate, it's still a good price for the. It's just a shame that you have to buy all this extra crap in order to use the app, because the app for the money is a really good price. I mean, it's a one-time purchase. I mean, if it was a one-time purchase of $100, well, they got me hook, line, sinker right now. I'd have no choice but to pay it, which I better not say that because then they'll find out that we're willing to pay that. Never mind. $7.99 is the way to go. But again, use whatever you want. You can also use a light board, paper, print stuff off, use your light board, piece it together, then use the chrome, I can't even think what they're called anymore. The black markers, the various size, 0.5,
micron.
Micron pens, and line that stuff out. I did that for a long time, and then run that through your stencil machine. You could absolutely do that too, but it's just there's newer things to use that make it easier and streamline it, and it might be beneficial to try those things out. Well, and look at that. We got almost 2 hours to the T. We got through all this stuff I had on here, and we did it good. So now we can just, continue what we've been doing and just BS about whatever we want. If anybody's got any questions or topics they want to talk about.
Yeah. Jason says, Andy, Dave, what's your favorite alcohol so I can send you a bottle? Unfortunately, I don't drink.
I don't drink either. I didn't drink a lot anyhow. I used to drink some beers, but I just gave it all up, period, because I just wanted to set the best example I could for my kids and representing. So,
well, I used to have a few beers. Don't get me wrong, I might have the odd one, but you could literally count on and still have fingers left over in the year how many I'd have. But basically, with the tablets I ended up on after an heart attack and that, if I had a drink, even if I had one bottle, the next day you'd wake up feeling like you'd had 22 or 122. So I didn't drink a right lot anyway, so it was a case of, I might as well just not drink at all. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Rather than feel like crap.
It's that. It's it's just there's so many reasons I decided to quit. It was a problem for me years ago, And vaping is the last thing. You guys see me huffing over here. This is the last thing I have to quit before I am, a free man, I'll call it. I quit smoking a couple years ago. I gave up smoking weed too. It was good for me for a while. It really helped post-military life, but it's still a deterrent, right? It was keeping me from being as productive as I needed to be. And then I became a bit more dependent, and it felt a bit on the lazy side, even though it has some really good benefits of it. So I quit that, I quit smoking, I quit drinking. I'm trying to quit swearing. I've gotten pretty good at that, but I still have a ways to go. And then vaping, son of a gun, helped me quit smoking, but now I'm on that. But anyhow, I get off on a tangent here.
No, it's. I mean, he's put up. Well, what can I send you guys in appreciation? Nothing. Just turn up each week.
Yeah.
Don't want anything in. We don't want anything in. Repayment wise for what I do or what we do. It's just keep turning up. If you want to do go get a lot of subscribers and get them on my channel. But no, it's. But no. I just enjoy turning up. Just keep turning up every week. And
no, that's a question there. There you go. What brand of coffee?
Oh, that's me down to a T.
Yeah, I drink
that's my poison.
There you go. That's if you want to send something in, send coffee of any kind, just not decaf.
No,
even though I actually need to pick up some decaf, I drink coffee too much. So,
yeah,
like if I could, I'd get off the stream, go drink a cup of coffee. But I need to get decaf so I can drink coffee when I don't need to be drinking. Yeah.
That's tonight. That's tonight while we're on this stream.
I've been chugging it. I ran out, so now I'm on the red juice, which isn't the same.
You know what I mean? That's tonight while we're being on this stream.
Yeah.
So it seriously is my poison. Is coffee. Terrible with it.
Yeah, that's it, man. Coffee.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not picky when it comes to coffee, but I just, I just drink a lot of it, so I can't get Folgers. Yeah, I mean, like that's pretty. I think I got 2 buckets of the Folgers upstairs.
I'm thinking I'm pretty particular when it comes to coffee. I can't drink cheap crap. It's just awful. It's cheap, nasty ass coffee. It's just can't do it. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be decent. It's got to be half, or at least half right.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta make sure you eat well before you tattoo. I mean, sometimes I don't, but it comes back and bites me in the butt. I usually gotta eat later.
Yeah.
Hold on. Can we add an orb in? Oh boy. There's more tattoo stuff coming in for.
Yeah, I mean,
working on the design, and we got some back and forths going on, which is always fantastic. But I want to make sure the person is happy with their tattoo, so we get it all hashed out in the beginning. But hey, what do you guys got? I guess everyone wants to talk about coffee. We can talk about coffee.
Yeah, talking about coffee. We got any other questions or topics or questions about tattooing that you want to ask?
Right.
Start them in chat. We're here. And that it's other than that, we'll just BS for a little bit or whatever, and it's one end. But like I say, if you got all that's just fire it in. Tattoo related, like I say, machines, needles, setups, strip downs, or anything. Have you seen FK Iron's new machine? No. I tell you what, I have just watched two videos on Critical's new machine, the Torque.
Critical has a machine?
Yeah, the Torque. Is it called the Torque?
I'm going to look up this FK Iron. Do you know what this FK Iron machine is called?
Ken, do you know what it's called, the machine?
I'm just going to type in FK tattoo machines.
Mike's but I am struggling in everything tattooing. Right, Mike. When you say you're struggling with everything tattooing, let's start from the beginning. What do you mean when you're struggling? Is it your line work? Is it your shading, stenciling, or Is it confidence? Or what? Because, and we also don't know your setup, Mike, as well. So we just need a bit of background information to try and help you out. A little bit more background information there, Mike, to try and help you out and put you on a, a bit of a track. We may be able to see where you're going wrong or anything. Because just remember, Mike, that everything to do with tattooing will start with your stencil. You've got a crap stencil, a stencil that you can't follow, or one that, if it's got shaky lines and wavy lines that are going all over on it, you're going to follow them on the skin. So if it looks like crap on the stencil, it's going to look like crap on the skin.
Yeah, that's true.
Rob, Andy, did your torque machine come with 2 battery packs, or did you order? No, Rob, my torque machine come with 1 battery pack, and then I ordered a second one to come with it, and it's the Quark battery, Kuark. It's a Quark battery. So I have 2 batteries for it. Love them. They're tiny. They're absolutely tiny, aren't they, Dave, these batteries?
Yeah, I had him here somewhere, but I don't know. I got so much stuff out here I got to clean up. Somebody asked, all right, right here. I thought it was a pretty decent question. I think they said, so many studios near me are after artists, but no one wants an apprentice. What can I do? So, I mean, the hard part there is that I think nowadays the difference is it's like a double-edged sword with information out there these days, in my opinion, because nowadays you can learn how to tattoo all over the place. A lot more shops are going like, I'm looking for people that know what they're doing nowadays. Can you tattoo? Vice bringing you in, showing you what they know, and then you leaving them anyhow to go work somewhere else or get an opportunity. I think people are a little more scared, a little more hesitant than they have been to take on apprentices, where they're going to take the time to show you, explain this stuff to you. They're not going to make any, don't take it the wrong way, but they're not going to make any money off of you for a little while because they're just training you and whatnot. Where, yeah, you might help around the shop, but again, they're not making much money or anything off of you. It sounds bad, but it's the truth. Where it'd be better off to just bring in somebody that already kind of knows how to tattoo, even if they're a younger artist per se, and they can kind of guide them along, but they can get them in the shop, they can get them working, they get them making money. So it is a bit harder now. I don't really know what to say. I would say put together the best portfolio you can. Try to present yourself in a responsible manner, right? I know that the tattooing scene is like cool and all this other stuff, but really, if you're looking to get a job somewhere, you need to present yourself in the most professional way possible and with the best art you have. But it is harder these days. Again, you can learn how to tattoo a lot easier these days because of all the information out there. But I think shops are a little more hesitant to bring on apprentices, so you're gonna have a harder time finding one. I probably didn't answer your question, but there it is. And then Ant Rocks, I will put together a video on armrests in the near-ish future. And one last thing for the freedom there. When you get the text, you have to drink the HEB brand coffee. I think I had the HEB brand coffee. We were in Texas for Christmas, and we went to HEB a couple times. Fantastic grocery store. That place is freaking awesome. And I'm pretty sure we got some coffee from there. But anyhow, that's as far down as I had gotten, Andy.
No, right, Mike. Mike. Going back to his question, he's put hand speed and voltage is my challenge. Right, Mike. A couple of other things I need to know is what machine are you running, and what sort of needles are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? Just need your machine, and then what sort of needles, needle groupings, mags, liners. Is it 11? Is it a 3-round liner or whatever? So if you could just give us a little bit more information. I up the voltage and then lower the voltage. Oh my God, bad. Right, so we just need a little bit more information. Danik, that's low voltage. Mary says 6.5 to 6 volts for colour packing. I don't think it's that low voltage, to be honest, Danik. I run, like I say, anywhere between 6.2 and 7.2, depending on what I'm putting in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's that low, to be fair, because it's all in relation. You've got to remember, this is all in relation. Your voltage, there's no set voltage. It's in relation to your machine, the needle groupings, and your hand speed that you use, that you're going to adjust your voltage.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, Tibbetts World, it fine. Look, Mike, send some of your work into critique. I know you may not want to, but it may be easier for us to see as well, along with a bit of an explanation on top of email for us to read. It may help. And like I say, I know you may not want to, but we're here to help as well. It's just something we could do.
Yeah, definitely. Oops. Well, if you find anything, go ahead, Andy. I am just having to send a couple replies here real quick.
If I do 7 volts, I get the lines. Right. So if that's so, you're using a CNC Wii. I've not used one of them. You've used is it the Wii X that you've used, Dave?
I've used the Wii X, and then this is my backup machine is the XWii Pro, I think it is. Yeah, good solid machine. It's a swash plate drive. I think it's 3.5 millimeter stroke. Has a proprietary battery, so think about that.
Right.
But I don't dislike that. I think it comes with 2 batteries. They're pretty long lasting batteries.
See, the other thing,
it's a decent machine. I don't remember what it costs nowadays, but it's a pretty decent machine.
It's so you say you're running 7 volts. Well, 7 volts, I would say, is a good area to start at. And start adjusting from. You're saying you're getting light lines. Now, at 7 volts, you don't say what size needle grouping you're using. But at 7 volts, you're going to have to see about, if the speed feels right, you might have to slow your hand. If your lines are light, you might be going too quick. So at which point you may need to up your voltage. But if not, at 7 volts, slow your hand down. Also got to remember, you are going to need a little bit of pressure to get them needles into the skin. If you don't stretch the skin and you get a little bit of pressure on it, they're never going to puncture the skin. Plus, if that's your skin and you've got your machine, your needles coming down and it's going straight down like that, it's harder for it to puncture the skin. That's why your machine should be at a slight angle, probably around about 40, 60, 45 degrees, so that it punctures in, and then it's just steady away through it. You may be sound of it, you may be running a little bit too fast with your hand. You think you're still there, Dave?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, man.
All right. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm having to reply to.
My plan is to review my week every week, right? I can't recall it off the top of my head because I'm an old fart, as Dana keeps wanting to remind me. But like I said, I'm assuming that you're running it on fake skin. I'm going to do fake skin. I feel that I am not ready for real skin. Fine, I understand. That's at least you're owning up to that, and that's a good thing. I don't know what fake skin you're using, because fake skin, if you're using cheap, thin, crap fake skin, you're going to break your head against a brick wall. It's not going to do you any favors whatsoever. At least, like we broached earlier in the stream, if you can't really stretch to the expensive skin, at least get the 3 millimeter skin. That way, then you're going to stand a bit of a chance. But these ones that are like 1.2 millimeters thick, you're never going to do anything with it. Get rid of it. You know what I mean? Just at least go with the 3 millimeter skin. Yes, it may cost you more, but what I would also say, Mike, is cut it into 4 pieces. Work on smaller pieces till you get your line weight. You're not going to overpull yourself, doing it that way. Somebody else has dropped on. Anonymous Prepper. What tablet for the Microsoft? Right, Microsoft. If you're going to use Surface, if you're going to use Sketchbook Pro, the least amount, it's a Surface Pro. You can get a Surface Pro, but it's anything from a Surface Pro 4 newer, and you're going to need an i5 with 8 gig of RAM and 256 meg of memory in it to run it. So that's the minimum specifics. I gave for my Surface Pro with the Surface Pro type cover and the pen and the charger, I think I give $220 for it all. But Surface Pro 4, if you can get a new one, you can stretch to a slightly newer one, go for Surface Pro. Surface Pro 5s aren't very reliable by all accounts, but a 6, 7, 8, if not Surface Pro 4, i5 or above, 8 gigs of RAM or above, and at least 256 gig of memory, you'll be fine.
Right on. Sorry about that, man. Replying to my Tuesday appointment, trying to get things worked out design-wise. 250 gigs of memory, LOL. That's a lot of memory. It is a lot of memory.
It is a lot of memory. I've actually got, in mine, I've got 256 gig of memory, and I've got also expanded mine because they have a little slot in them, you know, to put an SD card in. And I've put an high capacity SD card in it with another 128 gig on it. So I've got nearly 300 gig on mine.
Yeah, I think my tablet's 250 gig, and I have so much random crap on there. The other one I think was I don't remember how much it was. It was less, and you could tell. Plus, the more room you have on your tablet, the more layers are available for you when you get into using Procreate and whatnot. They limit it depending on how much room you have on your computer or your tablet.
Yeah, but yes, that's my hard drive. Sorry if I've come across that way. 256 gig hard drive with an SD card with another 128 gig, and I've got 8 gigs of RAM on the machine, and it's a Core i5.
Right.
Mike's back. I have tried lower voltage, works for stipple shading, but not for lining. Right, Mike. Yes, low voltages work for stipple shading. Mike, what machine are you using for a start off? Is it a swash drive? Is it a direct drive? Because what you may find is if it's a swash drive, and it's not and it's, shall we say, a more of a budget machine, you may need to find that instead of 7.5 volts, and like I found, you may need to run 8.5 volts because the motors, they've got cheaper motors in them, and they don't take the voltage, they don't run the same speeds as what it is. CNC Wii is a swash drive, right? So it's a swash. If the CNC Wii is a swash drive, what I would say is, look, I don't know how hard this thing is. Yeah, I don't know how hard it is, the CNC Wii. I don't know what the stroke is. I'm assuming it's a 3.5 millimeters. But what I would say, if you've tried 7 and you're not getting it, look, go up to about 8, see how it works. If you're getting lines, it's hitting a lot softer than some other machines. So I would try bumping your voltage up to about 8 and try getting some fake skin. Use about a 9-round liner if you've got one. So it's 3.5 mil stroke. So I'll probably bump it up to about 8 volts. Start with a 9-round liner and just try pulling some straight lines and seeing what results you're getting on your fake skin. From there, if you're getting a good result, cool. If not, up at 0.5 volt to 8.5. Try again. But then also, when you've done, look at your machine, look at your skin, get your skin, put your hands on your skin or get it and just pull it like that, because you could be pulling your line with a 9 liner and you might get a good line, but if you just don't rag it apart, but if you just get your false skin and just give it a little pull, if it opens up like a bread bun, your machine's running too fast. You've basically, because it's not stitched its way in, it's acted like a knife. So then start bringing your voltage down, then edging it down to where you're getting a solid line without opening your skin up and that you're comfortable at working with.
Yeah. I get that a lot. People ask that question a lot. They're cutting their fake skins.
Yeah.
Usually running too fast.
It's hard it's hard to give direct tuition in the chat. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame that you sort of like couldn't see as it goes on, you know, there and then. It's a lot easier to diagnose what's going on with your hand and everything than what it is in chat or off a few pictures. I've got to admit, it can be really, really hard.
Trey asks, Dave, have you used the Ambition Torped? How does it compare to the CNC Q2? Would the Parrot make a decent lining shading combo? I don't know. I've never used the Torped. All I can say is that I know that the CNC Q2 had a 3.5 millimeter stroke, which I think you can adjust. You can buy different cams for nowadays. But it was a pretty hard hitting 3.5 millimeter stroke machine. So I don't know. It sounds like the Torped is running a similar motor, if you will, as far as brushless with the 3.5 millimeters. So maybe you might want to, if you have the Q2 right now, maybe just look at a different cam that you can run in there to give you a longer stroke. Or if you haven't bought either yet, you might want to look at the Torp because it's going to come in at a lower price and it's going to come with those cams and maybe a battery as well. So just something to think about.
And you can do it Torped 4.5 and 5 millimeter cams. And then the rest of it is down to your hand, how light you're going to press on, this, that, and other, and you can get smooth shading from color packing, smooth shading, lining, and everything with it. I'm doing 4.5 millimeter cam, and I have no problems whatsoever doing any of the work with it, and I use it day in, day out, every single day, and that. It's not let me down, up to press, touch wood. It's fine, no problems. And I actually like using it to the point that I bought it in as a bit of a tester because we were on here and yes, I could have gone and bought with an Axis or a Spectra or whatever. But that wasn't the idea of the exercise. I wanted something that was, shall we say, budget friendly to everybody, that may appeal to everybody with decent specs, and to the point that the machine that I was using every day, and I've used it for 3 years every day, since I bought this machine, since I bought the Torped, I've not picked that machine back up. I just instantly gelled with the machine. And that's how much I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can do is speak from personal experience. That is all. Jeremy, do you think 4.5 is too much for soft portraits or just lower voltage? I want to look, Jeremy. So it comes with a 4 in it. The Torch would come with a 4 in it. You have to take the 4 out, put the 4.5 in, and do it that way. Do the 4 millimeter. Look, if you want softer, it's pull your needles back, retract your hang a little bit on your mags, retract them, and just use really, really light hand pressure. Let the machine do more work. Let the machine do more of the work. Just let it brush. Just let it brush gently across. You can get the same results by just adjusting your hand and hand speed. Let's be right there. Back in and everything years ago, nobody gave a shit about, all these strokes, this, that, and other. It would all done with hand speed. How far your needles were out and hand speed, and how fast you run your voltage.
Yeah. It's really, I think the problem is what happens is you always wonder, like, man, is there will that bigger stroke, will that longer stroke make things different for me? Will that shorter stroke make shading different for me? Sorry, I left that question up the whole time I was conversing with my client. And I think we get so wrapped up in that, it's like we have to try all of them. But then if you try a 4 millimeter stroke, but it's on this kind of a motor, it's going to be different from a 4 millimeter stroke on this kind of a motor, 4 millimeter stroke on a swash plate versus a direct drive. So there's so many little nuances that we get wrapped up in, and we think we need to try it all. Really, if you got a 3.5 millimeter stroke and you learn how to use your hand, you're going to be fine. If you got a 4 millimeter stroke, 4.2 millimeter stroke, and you learn how that machine works and how that stroke works in the skin, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. you've got to learn and understand
Yeah.
and gel with your machine.
Yeah, and then not get too wrapped around, too concerned if it's working for you. You might want a stronger hitting, a longer stroking, whatever the lingo is, machine for lining and packing in. I do like a four plus stroke machine, 4 to 4.5 stroke machine for lining. Especially sometimes you got to line some bigger needle groupings, some like decent sized round shaders. It just makes the job a little bit easier. It requires a little bit less pressure. When it comes to shading or color packing, you can use a weaker, or I say a weaker stroke, or a shorter stroke machine. You might just apply a little bit more pressure, right? Where the machine's not hitting as hard, you're pushing down a little bit more. So your hand pressure plays a part as well. And I personally like to be able to apply pressure. I like to almost feel what's going on, right? So that's why I kind of prefer, when it comes to color packing and shading, like 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, whatever, somewhere in there, a little bit lower of a stroke, because I want to feel it a little bit more. I want to have to apply a little bit more pressure, if that makes sense. But
Yeah,
if you get comfortable with the machine doing a lot of that work, you can be fine with a 4.5 millimeter stroke for shading and packing color. You just know that machine is pushing more of the punch. You don't need to apply as much pressure. These are just the thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's
yeah, it makes total sense, Dave, and it does to
okay.
me. For the simple reason is that I rock 3.5 all day long, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted some when I moved to this machine again. I had, and we've been through it on other lives. I had a specific set of criteria that I wanted to meet for this new machine.
Yeah.
That I wanted, and I wanted something with a stronger stroke. I wanted something that basically a little bit lazier, but I knew that if I were going to go from an abdomen to a leg to a thing to a neck, softer areas, larger people, smaller people, one machine's going to do it all.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted something with a stroke and a more powerful stroke that was going to make it more effortless for me. Now, but I agree with you. Even with this machine at 4.5 millimeter stroke, I still like to feel the pressure or hear the pressure. You know,
Yeah.
hear that note as you're in the skin. You can hear that note of that machine change. You know, when you're in the
Mhm.
right spot, you'll get tuned into that note, and then once it things. So what I do is I edge the voltage down slightly slower on the
Yeah.
4.5. So when you put it in, you can just hear that machine, for want of a better word, find the bog type thing. You can just hear that note change.
Yeah.
Like it. Tippett's World Ambition Top only comes with 4.5 and 5. No, Ambition Top comes fitted with a 4, and you get a spare 4.5 and you get a spare 5 with topped. There's a 4 fitted to it, and the other 2 spare cams that you get is a 4, 5, and a 5. But yeah, I still agree with you there. I still like to hear that note change. I don't
Yeah.
want a machine where it'll just drill anything so effortlessly that I can't hear that note change. You know what I mean, Dave?
Absolutely, man. That's exactly how I am. And uh, I'm been such a direct drive fan for a long time. I still am, but I was
Yeah.
incorporating this machine into my mix. And I don't know about shading at I mean, it goes down to 2.4 millimeter as far as the stroke goes. I don't know. I didn't really get into shading. I was packing a lot of black actually. And again, I like to line with the Bishop Wand Packer. A good solid stroke. I like that. And I normally actually will pack color, will do shading, all of that actually with the Bishop Wand shader with the 3.5 millimeter stroke. And it has a brushless motor, so it's like a weaker motor, so I can really feel that bog and whatnot. But for purely packing, I was running this. I monkeyed around with it, but I finally had it at 3.6 millimeter stroke, and I got the similar feel, but it was just putting the ink in better. I didn't feel like it was harshly damaging the skin. It just felt like it was a bit easier. So that 3.5 millimeter stroke with a it's like almost like I'm going back to where I started, 3.5 millimeter stroke with a brushless motor just felt really nice. And this was actually coming from a swash drive. So I don't know. Maybe it's the machine. Again, I don't know. I got to test it a lot more. I didn't use it the whole time, but once I realized it was working really good for packing black there at 3.6, I was like, I'm carrying on, and I did. But I used my other machines as well. So maybe I'll have to. I don't know. You get used to using certain machines. It's hard to like really let one, just fly in one. I'm just using this one because you never want to risk the quality for testing purposes. But I will wrap it up again for tomorrow's tattoo, and I'll use it a little bit more and just see how that goes. But I always hate. I was supposed to hate it, and I don't hate it, so I'm kind of bummed. I'm like, I really wanted. Like, you ever just want to hate something because you're like,
Yeah.
I don't like that style of things. I don't want to like this thing. I wasn't supposed to like it, but I kind of like it a little bit. So I'm gonna use it again tomorrow and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Because the funny thing is, I was just going to say to you, I'm just going to ask you that. Do you find it hard, Deb, when you found a machine that you like and you're using all the time, and you've really gelled with it, you know what I mean, and you like how it performs, how it feels, and everything, you've been using it a long time, do you find it hard to move to another machine and like it, but you've just sort of like answered that question?
Yes.
You get a little bit stuck in your ways.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I don't know. You have a system, and it's funny because if I could wrap 3 machines, I would, but it doesn't make sense, and I don't want to be dealing with 3 machines every time. It just takes up too much space. But I'd like my liner machine, a shader machine, and then like an in-betweener, but that doesn't make any sense. But I think it is a thing to have different tools for different things. So I could see if I can shade with this. All right, so I know that this is like a really good all-rounder at 3.6 millimeter stroke. If I turn this thing up to 4.2 and it lines pretty good, I'll be pissed. If I turn it down to like lower stroke, like let's say, I don't know, 3, and it shades nice and smooth, I'll be really mad, because then that means they can literally do all the things, and so I don't know. We'll see. I'm like comparing side by side. I'll use this machine, put it down. I'll put the same needle on the other one. All right. So this is doing that well. I don't know how well it is for smooth shading and whatnot. I didn't really do that on this last piece. So yes, it is frustrating though, Andy, because I don't know. This is why I don't like trying new things sometimes, because it changes breaks your thought process.
It does, and I also relate it to, like yourself, you're like me, that you're tattooing on a super regular basis nearly every day or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got that machine, you've got used to it, you like it. That takes one pressure off your head that you don't have to think about. You're not having to think about it. That machine is basically going to turn up for work and do what it needs to do, and you don't need to think about it. So that's one thing less to think about when you're tattooing, and you can just focus more on what's going on in front of your 2 eyes.
Yeah.
On that skin, and you like I said, yeah, there we go. It's just working.
Right. Yes, that's the hard part is giving up what works well. But then again, you can also over time find deficiencies in your process, and then something comes along and kind of fills that, or you're like, that could work, or maybe that could change. So it's it's different.
You're gonna bollock in there.
I'm so sorry, Danik. This is the struggle, man. Like, I literally just turned down like 3 companies today, finally, because they're like, "Hey, we want, they want to send me machines, and it's great, it's great." But I told them, I'm like, "Look, I have brought my audience enough stuff that I thought was cool, I thought was great, that I later find out it's okay. That I'm not bringing them your crap every other week. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. So if there's a product I like, I'll reach out to you." I like the Mass Pro cards. I use Bishop products. I like those. They're a bit expensive. They asked if I wanted to test this out, some Amela. I said, I don't really like that style of machine, but I'm interested, right? So I'm sorry, and I know you're probably just partially joking, partially serious, but yeah, that's the problem. Is I don't want to just bring stuff because somebody says, "Here, test this out and tell your audience what you think." Well, nowadays a machine's a machine. It's like, yeah, it's a good machine. You know, it works. What do you want me to tell you? Like, I like specific stuff. Andy likes specific things. I could tell you it's great. I mean, it lined good. It did this good. But most machines, honestly, will do that if you know what you're doing, right? So
Yeah.
it's really hard nowadays to define, let's say, deficiencies as well, unless you use a machine for a long period of time. And there's only been a few machines I've used for a long period of time. The Q2 I used for a long time. It's a great machine. But there's plenty of other ones that are equal to, if not better, for less money nowadays too. I love the Bishop 1 series. Good, solid machines. I've been using them for years. I don't know. You can go back and watch when I got them. And now I'm trying something else, but I don't know. Is it going to replace what I have? I don't know. But I'll present it, you know. I'll let you know what I think. But anyhow, without going on for too much longer there.
You just got to try stuff. It's either going to work for you or not. And like we've said before, it's like cartridges.
Yeah.
You're either going to love a cartridge or you're going to hate it. And for what I like, one cartridge, there may be 10 of you out there thinking, well, what's this idiot talking about? Because I don't like these. I just can't gel with them, you know.
Yeah.
But all we can do is let you know our experiences with what we've used. At the end of the day, you still got to make up your own mind.
Yeah.
But just trying to help you along where we can and how we can. Mike, and I understand. I say art, you love making art. Yeah, the problem with tattooing and tattooing false skin, I will agree with you, does not act and does not work in the same way as charcoal, pencil, markers or anything. Your colour work, packing colour, I would liken more to using an alcohol marker, because you've got it in and then you can blend it in while it's kept wet. You can do it that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, for you black and grey, it acts nothing like working with graphite or charcoal. The only added advantage of you working with graphite or charcoal before you do your black and grey is you already know your lights, your darks, you know your shadows, highlights, and that. So, but it can be a hard medium to work with for some people, and it's just a case of perseverance. And like we said, if you are committed, you will get there. You will get there, Mike. It just, unfortunately, everybody's learning curves are slightly different. So where somebody might take 6 months, it might take somebody 18 months, but you all get there in the end. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there, as long as you get there.
Yeah, it's a process, isn't it? I mean, it's still a process. It's still a process. And there's still moments I look at other people's work, I'm like, man, how many more levels? You know what I mean? It's like, gosh, I gotta level up like 3 more times to get there. Will that ever happen? If you keep trying, I mean, you just assume, I guess.
That is one fundamental that most people will tell you. We look at everybody else's work and you think to yourself, this, that, and other. Right. What I'm going to tell you now, stop comparing yourself to other artists.
Right.
That is the big thing.
Your crap.
Because what you've got, you will never ever work. I've seen artists at 6 months in, and it's like, God damn, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa. But my art style, you just got to sit back and say, my art style is my art style. And as long as your tattooing skills are on point, your art style is your art style. Your clients will come to you for your art style. And that's how I find you. But stop comparing yourself to other people, because otherwise, and we've all done it, otherwise you will drive yourself insane. You will never be good enough.
Yeah.
Don't get me, every day is a learning day, and you've got to be willing to learn. every single day, with different skin types, how it goes in, how colours work on different slight tones of skins. You're always absorbing something, but stop comparing yourself to other artists. Focus on your own artwork, getting that to the best of your ability, and getting your tattooing abilities on point for you.
True. Yeah. And that is a hard thing to do because you have to see the improvements in your own work and understand, yes, there's, but you're not going to adjust overnight. So what you're going to end up doing is just beating yourself up, and just, and that's it. As an artist, that's what we do. It's normal, but you want to be able to manage how much you hate yourself and your artwork. See the goods, see the bad, see what you gotta, what you want to work on and whatnot, but don't let yourself beat yourself down to the point where you quit, because you're not going to get anywhere if you quit. You just got to keep trudging through, and we've seen a lot of you guys' work improve like big time sometimes, and there's going to be those moments where you're going to feel like you're just trudging, and then you're going to do a piece, and you're like, wow, dang, that turned out really good. Right. And so you're gonna be like, all right, you just don't realize that you've accumulated these things over time. And each piece you're trying better, and things happen and you have these breakthroughs where like, oh crap, that's what I've been doing wrong. That's what I need to change. That, and then you'll take 2 steps backwards and then you'll be like, oh crap, never mind, So just keep at it, man. You gotta just keep pushing forward. I think back all the times I wanted to quit. Had I quit, I would never got to, to be anywhere close to where I am. I never would have. I wanted to quit back when lines weren't looking straight. Sure, they're still not perfectly straight by any means, but they don't even think about them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Mark's put on here. Pick a piece, see if you can do it. You might trash it, but if it's on fake skin, no problem. Yep, exactly. I mean, you've got to, in order to learn, you've got to understand what you've not done right to start with and then improve on. But what I would say to you, Mike, is while you're learning, don't your fake skin comes in A5 size or whatever it is, A4, A5 size, no matter which size it comes in, cut it into 4. Cut that piece into 4 while you're learning to start with. Pick small designs that fit on each one of them pieces. That way, then you're keeping your line small, you stand more of a chance. It's not going to run away from you. You're not going to get disinterested in it or anything, and just focus on smaller pieces, then expand. Because the problem is, if you start too big, it's trying to learn to run before you can walk. So just keep them small. Whatever size fake skin you get, the 3mm, cut it into 4 even pieces. Put your designs, keep your designs. Fairly simple to start with. Keep your designs on there and go from there, and you'll be fine.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, there's no point in getting too big too quick. I know we all want to do pretty pictures and stuff like that, but you are going to get clients that just want a traditional flower, as mad as it seems, an anchor. Do you know what I mean, Dave? It's stuff like that. You are going to get them that when you start with.
No, it's true. It's true. It's a patience game, man. It's a patience game. It's just, it's just the way it goes. The problem is I like big pieces, and you cannot lie, right? Yeah, I mean that's what the beauty of fake skin is too. You can work out a lot of these things, if you got to go. It is pretty common. You get into it, you do big pieces, and you realize like, oh, I'm not Picasso right out the gate. It's normal. You do great charcoal, you do great pencil, you do great work everywhere else. Tattooing is like a whole different thing, and then you start backing up, you start doing some line stuff, Smoke, I've seen some great improvements, man. It's been looking better. The work, your wife's the color packing. Now the great thing is I see qualities in you and your wife. So you guys can like feed off each other. Like, how'd you do that? And how'd you do that? And you know what I mean? I thought that was great. So you're doing it. You know what I mean? You're making it happen. Is it perfect? No, it's not supposed to be perfect right now. It's supposed to be rudimentary and learning, but it's actually gotten, it looks nice. You look at it and go, hey, that looks good. you did some really nice things there. Same with your wife. You know, some of that color saturation was really good. So right on, man.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's just a slowly does it for some people. And like we said, the learning curve for some people is slower, but you all end up in the same place. It doesn't mean anything in the long run, as long as you're enjoying it and you're committed. You will get there, and you've also got to be, like I say, self-critical, which it sounds like he is.
Yeah, definitely, which is good.
So you're self-critical about your work, and that. But just keep plugging away, and you will get at it. Look at your work, and you're understanding, because you're also telling us that my line work's not the best saturated, this, that, and other. So you are actually realizing what's wrong, which is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And guys, let us know. And if you want to do it in the chat, you can. If you want to leave a comment afterwards, real quick, just if you have an idea for next week, something that you next Sunday, a topic you guys want to cover. I figure we kind of like shotgun blast a bunch of stuff today just to get it out there. Stuff you might need, you know, just go over some basics that we can all kind of at least know we're on the same page moving forward. And then, but you know, let me know topics. Wait, did somebody just, Chris, dealing with 2 cancellations in a day, Andy? But you know how it goes. Dude, we've all been there. That takes that day that you could have been excited for, or just like ready to rock, make some money, do your thing, to now it's sitting on your hands trying to figure out what you're going to do with the day or whatnot. That's tough, man.
But can we also be real as well? That is the realism of tattooing as well, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it really is, man.
It really is. You've got up, ready, clients, this, that, and other. You're about to go, and you hear this beep, 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 beep. You look down at your phone, and your client's like, "I'm sorry for any inconvenience, but I can't make it today." It's like, cheers. You know what I mean? That's your day. Just got shit.
No, that's dude, that's so it. And there are occasions where, you know, if you're really having a busy week or something, somebody cancels, it's like, sweet, you know, but it's not very often that you're happy about cancellation, especially when it's a tattoo you really want to do. But just in general, cancellations stink. If they cancel in advance, that's great. The worst is when somebody has a Saturday booked for all day pretty much, and then they cancel on Friday. I mean, I'm glad they didn't cancel the morning of. That's fantastic. But now I have an empty Saturday in a private studio setting. You're not going to pull somebody in on that Saturday. I have a couple of people who are on standby in case Saturday comes. They don't in case there's a cancellation on Saturday. But the problem there is I don't have next month's tattoos designed this month, right? So that person who's currently booked out like 2 months, I can't message them and be like, hey, I'm free tomorrow. Get in here. I'm free today, because I don't have their tattoo designed yet. You know what I mean? So then you're really screwed. Now you're just a Saturday kind of burned. And that's happened several times. And there's nothing you can do about it.
There's 2 things gone up on questions, and I'm willing to answer them. I mean, if you don't want to, I will.
Go ahead, Andy.
Whatever you want to do, Chris, that's when you should take a deposit. Do you take deposits? Quite simple. I take a deposit. No deposit, no booking. No deposit, I won't even draw your design if you're not paying your deposit. I don't open you a folder. You are not getting a design. You are not getting nothing out of me unless you pay your deposit. And I don't take deposits over the phone, bank transfer, or anything. It's get your ass into my studio where I can talk to you as well, pay your deposit. At which point, like I said to them, when they come in, I will say straight to their face, your deposit is non-refundable. You decide that you don't want to go through, you don't turn up on the day. And the other thing is, if they do not give me 48 hours notice or more to change their appointment, they have lost their deposit. It has gone. That is it. They want to book in again for that, they pay another deposit. But I will tell them straight to the face. I used to pussyfoot around, this, that, and other. not deposits, this, that, and other. But now, no, they get told before they hand it over, this is how it is. That's my terms and conditions. If you don't like it, basically, there's the door. And that's how I do it. The deposit's not a massive deposit, but I just think, and it probably doesn't cover me for some of the designs that I do. But that is it. That is it.
Yeah, and I think I have fallen into where Chris is at and still do at times, man. When it comes, that's a really good point by Jason there. When it comes to business, no friends, Chris. I know how you feel. And that's where I've been too. And where you're at, Chris, where you said hard to take down payments when they are such good friends. I know that's the problem I run into as well. A lot of the clients are just friends or people I know well, or clients that have been long-term clients where it's like, I trust, I'm not worried about them, right? But I get lazy and I should be taking deposits from even clients that have always come in on time or whatnot. You know what I mean? Because those are unfortunately the ones who actually end up dropping the ball on me the most, are them. So a lot of times I take clients from take deposits from new clients, right? But sometimes once they're a new client, I don't worry as much. And that is where I have fallen on my face the most, is because I start them off with, oh yeah, we're gonna need a deposit, let me know, blah blah blah. And I think once they paid that deposit, they're like, I gotta show up for my appointment, or they have they don't really cancel on me. They don't not show up when I have a deposit. It's when they don't have a deposit and it's like a recurring, and they've come to 3 different sessions and then they don't show up, or they're like, hey, they cancel Friday for that big Saturday appointment. So I'm in the same boat, Jace or Chris. I'm learning to be, what is the word? I don't know what the word is. Consistent, and just go, hey, we need that deposit. Has to be a deposit. Has to be a deposit. Even though I designed the whole sleeve, right? So I've already got the design out of the way, and now they just got to come each time. I should still be taking deposits for each session, and I still to this day hit or miss. And that's something me and Andy talked about a while back too.
Yeah,
maybe just a couple weeks ago, about how that was a struggle for me, and it still is, because now it's hard to change stuff now. Right? Clients are used to I'm a regular client. I don't pay. I paid you in the beginning. Now you trust, you know what I mean? And now I'm gonna have to come back and go, hey, we're gonna need a deposit. And it's more on my end. I'm more concerned about it than they are. They would just go, okay, here you go. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, that's fine, Dave. But to me, so it's been weird telling some of my clients lately that I need it, and they haven't really cared. So don't be so afraid as well, Chris. Just do it. It's going to be fine. Yeah. They're just going to adjust to it.
I mean, you said in there, I was Jack Blunt, deposits and that. Normal deposits, I'll probably take $40 or $50 off them. If they book a full day's sitting to the self, the studio to the self, I will take a £200 deposit. Off them. If they don't turn up or whatever, boom, they've lost $200. You know what I mean? It's
right,
because they've booked that studio out for themselves. Even down to the point where I've been tattooing somebody in the morning and I've had a walk in and I've says, I haven't got anything, but I will be free at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to do that little tattoo that you want. And they'll go, yes, I'll be back. Pay your deposit.
Yeah.
Pay your deposit. I'm not taking you on your word, because people lie. They're full of crap. You know what I mean? Pay your deposit. I know you're coming back. No deposit. Like I said, no tattoo, no work. It doesn't matter whether, believe it or not, it doesn't matter whether they're friends or whatever. But the other thing I have got on the flip side, I have a couple of clients with what I call, I've got an open deposit. And they've been a lot of time. So what they've done is they've put the deposit in, and because they live a little bit away, they've put the deposit in and they come regular. When it comes for the tattoo, they'll come to end of the tattoo, and let's say they've got $50 deposit down and the tattoo's $100. They will pay for that tattoo and leave that deposit there, so that then what they can do is they can send me another design by a messenger and book another appointment. And they leave an open deposit in with me until they've had enough, and then they'll take it out.
That's actually a pretty good way to do it. So then, from a client's perspective, they, don't feel like they're throwing. I don't know, but it just makes sense. But then they got to remember that when they mess around and don't give you that warning that they had to start over. Yeah, so I guess it's nice to hear some other people struggle with the same thing, because my least favorite thing now, this is, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are different. They don't care, straight business. I suck as a business person because I physically hate taking money from people. It's just the action of it. I don't like it. I just don't. If I had enough money, I'd hire somebody to do all the money stuff, this is how much it's going to cost. This is that, you know what I mean? And I just want to tattoo. You talk to that person about it. If they said $1 billion, you pay that person, they'll pay me. But I don't like taking money from people. It's just, I don't know. I know people work hard for it, and I know that they want this tattoo and they won't pay for it. It's just hard for me to take their money. But it's something I guess you just got to get used to. You just got to get better. I've gotten better with it, obviously. That or I would be sinking horribly over here doing free tattoos because I can't take people's money. But
after spending, basically, I mean, I've worked for myself since I was 19. So most of my life, there's a couple of times I haven't, but not for long. I mostly worked for myself, and through most of my working life was construction, and I even took. You just got to get tough. It was just like pay your deposits, you know, this, that, and other, and just carried it on.
Right.
It's just something that you got to learn and get on with it. And anybody that's serious, they'll just go, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
You won't have a problem with them.
Yeah.
And that, you think a lot of it is psychological on yourself. You know,
yeah. It's more up here than it is in reality.
Whereas you just say to them, look, yeah, I'll book you in, just need a deposit off you. And how much is deposit? So, I'll book you a date while we're here, this, that, and other. Just explain. Yeah, no problem. Just say to them, and obviously, turn up for your tattoo. Comes off price of your tattoo.
Yeah.
That's it. Job done. I wish you were building log houses. It'd have been a fortune if we were building log houses. Jesus.
Little Lincoln log cabins over there. Sweating building them. No, it's kind of the way it is. Psychology. What is this?
Psychological, indeed. Yeah, it is. You just got to get over it.
It is, man. It is. And the hardest thing to do is to in the beginning, it was actually way hard, because then you're kind of having to charge, like, I don't know where you're at. I'm sure, Chris, you're not here in the very beginning, obviously, but to some people who are in the very beginning, I remember it was very early on. I didn't like, you have to charge like your friends and family and stuff, you know? So it's the weirdest asking them for money. Mm-hmm. So you figure if once you get past that, it's fine, you know, but I don't really mind telling people. It's just, I prefer if somebody else could do it for me. It's actually quite cowardly, if you ask me. So anyhow, something I've gotten used to, and I hope to become more used to that. And that's where the taking down payments, if you will, is been important. And it's helped because clients have been staying more true to their appointments. I've had far less cancellations. There have been a couple of people that I just don't even tattoo anymore. And that's my own fault, because I wasn't taking deposits then. And I booked them like 3 different times. They canceled all 3. I'm just done. I don't reply to a comment. I don't message them. I don't nothing. You're dead to me. Unfortunately, it's like, you're dead to me. What do you want me to do? I'm not going to take, you will get fuck one days. Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Try South Florida high-rise constructions. Yeah, you would think friends and family, yeah. I mean, the close ones, right? Everybody's looking for a deal, man. Everybody. My clients still want that neck tattoo. Hey, you'll be ready. You'll be ready when the time is ready. They might not be ready at that point, but give yourself as much time as possible, man. Give yourself as much time.
I hate doing necks. I did one other week, and I hated every minute of it.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Awful skin.
It's just a horrible area to try to make good art on.
Yeah, hard work. Really, really hard work. I mean, for where you could do it on an arm, a thigh, a leg, or whatever, outside the neck, it's like, oh god, it's like pulling teeth. It's awful. It's really awful. and that.
Yeah,
next are tattooing on hard mode. Yeah, they are. It is. Next, honestly, it's
yeah. And then Mike, you said never charge family. They're your free canvas. Yeah, but you'd be surprised. You start working, family you didn't even know will come out of the woodwork and stuff. So, which is fine. You know, it's fine, and you don't even have to charge them a lot. But again, you just want to set the tone that unless it's just boo boo work, and then you know what I mean, and they know that they're just kind of like guinea pig, going to get what you're going to get. Then I guess that'd be a different thing. Smoke says, "Feel your neck right now. If you're over 50, don't do it." Right.
Yeah. It's right. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Yeah. Oh, you know what I mean? You know what this skin's like? You know when you get a kid's party balloon and you blow it up and and it's right big, and then over next week it shrinks down and it's got all that wrinkled effect and everything outside of it. That's what the neck skin's like. So you try tattooing that. It's awful.
It sucks, man. It does suck. It really does.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh shoot. Well, we are at 3 hours now, guys. If you got any last minute questions or anything, let us know. But we're gonna be jumping off here in about 10 minutes.
And like we say, if you're still wanting a tattoo critique, that's over on my channel Wednesday or Thursday. But you need to drop over there, subscribe, like, send it to the email that's
scrolling at the bottom of the screen,
coming up on the bottom of the screen. Anytime between now and then, you can send to that email address your work for critique, and press a notification bell for all, and hopefully YouTube will send you a notification when we go live off my channel. But
yeah, hopefully they will. I mean, they might. But yeah, remember, make sure you're subscribed over on Andy's channel, The Tattoo Studio. If you want to send your work in to get critique this Wednesday or Thursday, that's the email to send it to. Guys, let me know what you want to see next Sunday. What do you guys want to talk about next Sunday? Like I said, we're down to just cover some topics. You know, when we get through said topics, we can just, answer questions, whatever you got for the week. Something came up during the week, you got a question, and if myself and Andy can answer it, that'd be great. If not, the chat might be able to chime in. There's plenty of knowledgeable people there as well, who have all experienced different stuff. That's why it's fantastic community here. But yeah, let me know. Let me know after the video's over. Leave a comment down below. It helps the video out anyhow. So you'd be like killing two birds with one stone, helping the video out and or the stream out, and let me know what you guys are thinking might be good for next week. Topic, some of your interests.
Yeah, it's and like I say, I may try if I'm quiet, I may try go live out of studio again on Tuesday. Go out of it. We'll go in tattoo removal room, I think.
Yeah.
Like I say, see what it takes to all these knackered tattoos that people have got on them. Sometimes what it's going to take to get them off or covered up.
Oh, that's a great topic, man. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
Believe me, if I remember, I might even sling a pair of shorts in and do a bit of a live, shall we say, tattoo removal session. Yeah. I'll need to count. I don't think my internet shop would take it, because otherwise I'd have one camera down at my leg and one at my face like that, But I don't think it'd take it. But yeah, it's you can always do a tattoo removal. See what it takes, because it takes longer and it costs a lot more money to get shots of them than it does to put them on.
It's a good point. So it's good to see the process and, have a better understanding of what's going on with that. I didn't know anything about it until I was talking to you and realized just like how many sessions and what's the reality. I think sometimes, people are probably more educated nowadays, but I remember when laser first came out and I heard about it, I literally thought you just go in and it's like a laser and you're done, and you don't realize that the stages and what goes into it and all that jazz. So I think it would be really interesting for everybody,
Yeah, there's so many variable factors. And like I said, we have two different machines. Recently got a newer machine in. They work different. One's a lot more powerful than other, and the effects opposed to the aftercare healing. It's what you use and this, that, and other. It's
definitely.
It's one of them. I won't say it's not a pleasant experience. It's not awful, but you know what I mean. It's not a pleasant experience. A guy I was learning off on a tattoo removal machine and said he was steady with business. Yeah,
I'll bet. I mean, people are always getting stuff taken off, huh?
It's even if tattooing styles have changed over years, Dave.
Yeah, for sure.
People have had stuff and like tribals and stuff that it's a case of when they want something different, more art based, it's like, well, you've got to have them faded down.
Yeah, I would like, I mean, I don't know. See, some of these topics I want to talk about that people are bringing up, but unfortunately, I don't know enough about it. I can give my opinions, but our opinions would take us all about 15, 20 minutes. Maybe that's all we need to do is just give our opinions for a half an hour on a topic. You know, let's see, some of the topics people brought up were, where did they go? Talk about the different types of tattoo styles. We could discuss that. There are a lot of stuff out there about that, but why not? Could definitely talk about that. What ink is made of. If you're allergic, I don't even know what they're made of, so I'd have to go and look into it a bit more, honestly, which could be a good thing. Maybe force myself to learn some stuff. What else we got here? We got do cover-up theory. I don't mind that. I could give our opinions on cover-ups and what works and what doesn't. It's by no means going to be an all-encompassing conversation. It's just going to be me and Andy's inputs and thoughts, and your guys' is shared in the comments and whatnot. So, you know, there's different. I'd like to talk about, but I don't have any true information. Just from knowing, a lot of people have done this whole blackout tattoo stuff, right? I mean, this is kind of, we've been doing this for a while now. The blackouts. And now I see people win it and they were putting white over top of black, right? And that was, I haven't seen these long-term healed, but I couldn't possibly imagine that they're healing well. They're definitely going to have to be coming back and getting these things touched up. And for so long, people told us, no, you can't cover white with black, or you can't cover black with white, you know, or you can't do that because they're going to live in the skin together. It's never going to look the same. You're going to do it. You're going to have to put that white in so many times, you're going to damage the skin over time. But now we're doing it. And the same, I don't know if they're the same people, obviously, but we're doing it. And you say, wouldn't that damage the skin? No, it's fine. Okay, well, that contradicts everything I thought I knew. And then you have people that are like putting color tattoos over top of black tattoos. And I do get that the black fades a bit. So now you put fresh black on top of old black and color on top of it. These colors are living with the black ink in the skin. They have to fade big time. So are these people going to have to come back in again and get them done? Or are they just living with these really faded color tattoos over black? I just don't know. I don't have enough information about it, but it kind of bothers me. Are we, I don't know. So you got this.
Looks like I'm getting hammered to do a tattoo removal.
Yeah, you are. Do it, man. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In your shop, you have that. That's something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got it. Plus, if you record yourself in pain, I mean, everybody loves saying that.
Everybody's going to tune into that, aren't they? You know,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. People describe it all sorts, Dave. I wouldn't say I'd describe it as an excruciating pain. The worst part of tattoo removal, actually, the procedure is the very first shot that you get. The very, very first shot of the laser you get. Have you ever walked up to a door or a door handle and got that static electricity?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Ooh, all the time, huh?
No. And then after that, it's like somebody's got a tiny little piece. For me, somebody's got like a tiny little piece of elastic band and just like, tick, 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 you know.
Right.
Like that. But then in the grander scheme of things, if you take, say, like something that's like that size, you know, back of your hand.
Yeah.
To cover that and to laser that, 8 to 10 minutes, that's all it's going to take.
Okay.
It's quick.
Okay.
It's very, very quick.
Okay.
And I know the wife, she's got herself very, very adept at doing it to the point that, I mean, some ladies are coming in, they're having wings off the back and like a third of the back done, and she can get through it in 3/4 of an hour. You know.
Okay. So it is quick, huh? It's just you got to
Obviously,
have multiple sessions. Is that it?
yeah, there's a lot of factors into how fit you are, how old you are, where it is, how far away from your heart it is, because it relies on blood flow, how good your immune system is, how
Wow.
it's being put in. It can take, honestly, and it could take anywhere from. We've had stuff go, self-done tattoos, where they've done them, they've used like
Yeah.
Indian ink or whatever. We've had
Right.
smaller stuff. She's had smaller stuff going 2 or 3 sessions.
Oh. Oh wow. Okay.
Whereas some other stuff, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 sessions, to get it to go. And then again, you do have inks that won't go. You could have a tattoo this big and you could get rid of 99% of it, but there could be 3 little dots that just won't go. You'll never shift them.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing as well is you've got to be careful with is no laser. There is no laser out there, and no laser has been brought out that I understand of to this minute in time that will remove yellow and white.
Yellow?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they work on a different spectrum of light. Whites, you've got to be really, really careful with whites because some white is made with titanium dioxide.
Wow.
And you hit them whites, and unfortunately you don't know until you've hit them. You hit them whites with a laser, they turn brown. And
well, that's what happens in the sun sometimes with too much sun.
Yeah, they turn brown, Dave.
Yeah.
And they're quite a dark brown, like a freckle.
Wow.
Once they've turned brown, you can't shift it.
Dang. See, this is good. We gotta do you gotta do a stream on this. It's a great topic. I mean, it's just it'd be cool to hear it from you and interesting to see you get lasered.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see it's but well, I'm out, got art issues. Jason, I've got art issues. I still get lasered, mate.
No excuses.
And I still get lasered, but like I said, it is a total different. If some, do you know something? If some of these people that did bad tattoos on other people,
yeah,
actually came and went through the laser process on the self to see what it entailed, they'd stop doing it.
Yep. See, that's why I think it's gonna be good.
Yes, you can, Byron.
Over that spot again.
Yeah, you can. What you do is you just got to leave it X amount of time, but then you can have it tattooed over, and it's like no problem because the laser only works like a sledgehammer. When you fire the laser, because you've got ink pigments that are too big for your blood cells to take away, when that laser hits it hits it like a sledgehammer, shatters it into little pieces. Then your blood comes along, basically takes it, short version is it takes it down to your liver and everything. Next time you go to the toilet for a poop, out it comes. So it's like if you had a plate and you dropped it on the floor and it broke into 4 pieces, you wouldn't be able to use a vacuum to clean that up. But if you kept hitting it with an hammer and turned it to dust, then you'd be able to vac it up. And that's just a simple way of how laser acts with the ink pigments.
And is that what you were talking about? Remember we were talking before how if you're more of an active person, the blood's going to flow more. So with blood flowing more, that's like more of the broom pushing the little particles, you know, out down the toilet a little bit faster. So it's cool to know that you can actually like get a little bit more bang for your buck if you're hitting a treadmill or doing something to keep that blood flowing.
I mean, Jason's putting there, I think it's like a year you have to wait. No, it's 3 months. We usually say 3 months ish, you know, before you can laser over, before you go over the top.
Is that just let the skin heal?
Just let the skin heal and just let it repair itself. And that's all because you're not affecting the ink that you're putting in. Because the ink that you're putting back in over the top is full-size pigment. So it it doesn't matter. Because your laser is only working with that ink that's in the skin already, and you're hitting it and smashing it up. So once you put new ink over top, it's full size pigment again, and your blood's not going to get it away. But like I say, yeah, it is a good topic. You would see what you go through, and the recuperation. It's a long, drawn out process.
Well, that's why we're going to do a live stream. I think it'll be awesome. Definitely, hopefully notifications work so I can get that notification.
Yeah.
But we better jump off here, Andy. We're heading 3 hours and 15 minutes. Guys, I thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I had a great time BSing with you guys, talking about stuff, and it's always a good time. Always a good time. And remember, later this week, I think Thursday, we're going to be over at Andy's channel, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep.
Critiquing your work. So send it in one last time. I'll put it up one last time. Bottom of the screen, _tattoo_studio. That's Andy's channel. Go over there, subscribe, turn the notifications on so you know. And then send your work anytime to the email critiquemytattoo@gmail.com. And we'll be taking a look at those come Wednesday or Thursday of this week.
We will.
What's that?
I just says we will.
Yeah. And then next week we'll have another topic. Maybe it'll be blackout stuff and tattooing over that. I'd love to get a conversation going in more detail because, we could also talk about micro tattoos as well. Just like that sort of thing, possibly. But let me know. Leave a comment below so other people can go and look at that and just, like it or comment what they would like to see. Whatever. You get the dealio. Nonetheless, again, make sure you guys subscribe to Andy's channel. Give the stream a like on your way out if you haven't already. And I want to thank Andy for hanging out with us again this evening. And we will see you guys next time.
Next time.
Peace.